Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
Even though it may cross the threshold of 10 minutes.
Maybe not. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my colleagues on both sides of the House. And before I make the statement, I really would like to congratulate the Minister of Sports and his contribution, of course, my colleague, Mr. Maraj. I was very touched and inspired listening to Minister Watson. I do wish to say, Minister Watts came to me very early when we formed the government, and together with the TTFA made this proposal. We wasted no time. We brought it to this House, and we also want to compliment the Honourable Attorney General and his staff for the rapid, swiftness in which they produced the bill. And I thank you again for this opportunity to address this Honourable House, and by extension, of course, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I rise today to address a matter that speaks to the very foundation of justice, fairness, and human dignity, a matter that embodies the core of our democracy, the heart of our nation, and the workers who are its lifeblood and strength. For more than a decade, employees of the National Insurance Board of Trinidad and Tobago, NIBTT, have been waiting in frustration and deprivation for what was lawfully theirs. A legally binding collective agreement entered into between the PSA and the NIBTT covered the period January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2016. This was a legally binding collective agreement. That agreement was solemnly settled, duly signed, and lawfully registered, binding all parties with the full force of law, that is, Government of Trinidad and Tobago and the PSA. Its terms were unambiguous, its obligations undeniable, its enforcement inescapable. And yet, in an unconscionable act of political obstruction, its benefits were deliberately withheld from the very workers it was designed to protect. Mr. Speaker, despite the unambiguous and binding nature of that agreement, the former administration deliberately blocked the NIBTT from honouring its obligations to workers. In doing so, they denied 600 current employees and 350 past employees their lawful entitlements for many years, effectively withholding salary increases that had been due for over 12 years. They placed political interference above the law. They sacrificed justice on the altar of expediency, and in the process, they robbed thousands of our citizens of their rightful salary adjustments and arrears. The human cost was devastating. Almost 6 years of denial and more, 6 years of frustration, and 6 years of prolonged litigation. For all those years, fathers, mothers, clerks, officers, men and women who gave their lives to national service were forced to endure without their just due. Their children also bore the weight, watching their parents struggle as families sacrificed meals, opportunities, and peace of mind because justice was cruelly denied. This was no accident. It was a result of deliberate political interference. The past government chose politics over people, sacrificing justice to protect their narrow interests and reducing citizens to collateral damage in reckless political games. Children were left to suffer, watching opportunities slip away, carrying the scars of deprivation caused not by misfortune, but by the former PNM government's callous abuse of power. That was not governance. That was cruelty disguised as policy, inflicting needless suffering on ordinary families across our nation. Mr. Speaker, that was not just an administrative lapse. It was a grave and moral failure. It was a betrayal of workers and, worse, a willful dereliction of duty to citizens of our nation. The PNM's political interference was not only unprincipled and reckless, it was petty, spiteful, and rooted in partisan abuse of power. That regime abandoned the most sacred responsibility of governance, to uphold the law, to protect the rights of its people, and to serve with integrity. Instead, they weaponized the machinery of the state to punish workers, placing politics above people, and condemning hundreds of families, including the children, to years of needless suffering. Entire communities, Mr. Speaker, were forced to bear the cost of arrogance, vindictiveness, and political spite masquerading as policy. Today, my government has acted decisively to correct this grave injustice and to restore what was lawfully, rightfully, to the workers of the NIBTT, who were denied for far too long. In correcting this wrong, we are reinstating the dignity of workers, we are reaffirming their humanity, and we are upholding the rule of law as the bedrock of our democracy. This action is not only about back pay and arrears, it is about honouring lawful agreements, defending fundamental rights, and providing that in a just democracy, no citizen is ever beneath the protection of the law or beyond the reach of fairness. Accordingly, my Cabinet has directed the NIBTT to do the following: to implement the agreed salary adjustments with immediate effect, to facilitate the full and prompt payment of all outstanding arrears to affected employees without delay. Mr. Speaker, I make bold as to say this is not merely the execution of a contract. This is the restoration of justice and fulfillment of our workers' agenda. And this is, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to say, the delivery of another campaign promise. This is another promise we have kept to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When UNC wins, the NIBTT workers win, and everyone wins. Mr. Speaker, let the contrast be unmistakable. The PNM regime blocked justice. This UNC coalition government restores justice. The PNM regime denied workers their lawful entitlements. This UNC coalition government delivers those entitlements. The decision reflects my government's philosophy of inclusive and collaborative governance and our unwavering commitment to advancing the dignity and well-being of workers in every sector. It marks the beginning of a new era of governance, one in which workers will never again be bargaining chips or collateral damage in political games, but will be respected as partners in our national development. Mr. Speaker, I commend the Public Services Association and the employees of the NIBTT for their patience, their resilience, and their steadfast faith that justice would one day prevail. They endured years of uncertainty and despair. Today, their perseverance has been vindicated. I am deeply grateful for their patience and their faith, qualities that reflect not only endurance but true patriotism. Their service to this nation, even in the face of injustice, speaks to a devotion that strengthens our democracy. We must always remember, workers are not merely employees. They are the heart and soul of our nation. They are the bedrock of our democracy. They sustain our economy. They uphold our communities, and they embody the spirit of service and sacrifice upon which our great nation was built. Under our leadership, we pledge that they will always be justly respected, fairly rewarded, and never again be treated as expendable. And I'm sure the former Minister of Finance and former Ministers of Finance, but I think one was fired and then another one brought. Where you want to know where we're getting the money? We will find the money to do the right thing, to make sure that the workers are taken care of. And so this is part of that promise. And I know for the past months, where you're getting the money, Minister, the money is there. It's to use your creativity, your intelligence, and your integrity to place the money where it rightfully belongs to reward people. Our budget statement will be in early October. We will share with you many more ideas we have for creating more revenue streams and, of course, for creating more jobs. So I will not go into that today. So let me assure this Honourable House, let me assure the national community, this is not an isolated measure. It is the first step in a comprehensive program to address and settle outstanding negotiations across the public service and the state sector. We made a promise to the people. Today we prove once again, promises made are promises kept. Mr. Speaker, Trinidad and Tobago must never forget. The former PNM regime's obstruction was not only a betrayal of workers, it was a betrayal of our citizens. And it was a dereliction of duty to the nation itself. For 10 years, they placed politics above people, abandoning their responsibility and leaving ordinary families to pay the price of their neglect. In contrast, my government has demonstrated strength, vision, and resolve. As I close, Mr. Speaker, I say again, my government is restoring justice, rebuilding trust, and setting a new standard of governance. In this new paradigm, workers are never pawns in partisan games, but permanent partners in national progress. This is a government which is to be measured not by petty spite or partisan obstruction, but by our fidelity to the rule of law, the defense of democracy, and the justice it delivers to people. This is governance anchored in fairness, accountability, and delivery. It is about building a nation where every citizen can see and feel the results of sound policy in their salaries, in their dignity, in their communities, and in the opportunities secured for their children and their generations to come. This is our vision. This is our vision, a stronger, fairer, and more prosperous Trinidad and Tobago. And this is my solemn pledge to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Under my leadership, we will always be a nation where rights are respected, democracy is upheld, and justice is delivered. This is a country where progress is shared with every section of society, seen in the dignity of work, felt in the strength of families, and lived in the daily hope of every community across the length and breadth of our country. This is a nation under our governance where partisan gamesmanship and political abuse must never again be placed above people, and where the true measure of our democracy will always be the welfare and dignity of all our citizens. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Time check. It's 33 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report. And viewing the Ground Report, yours truly, the Pitbull of radio in studio. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, Ground Report. Bossman here. I wouldn't waste time to get distracted by those fiends who criticize every single contribution I make. The arguments are feckless and facetious, and they talk a lot of flim-flam. Anyway, this morning, there at the San Fernando PTSC, there wasn't.
Oh boy, I'm gonna play Bossman message a little later on. Because we will want everybody to get that very important message. So I'll play Bossman message a little later on. Yes. Boy, Bossman, this talk a kind of way, boy. Bossman. Roger, you're laughing for the morning already, boy. Bossman in the house, rain falling. What's what? Rain falling all days there? Well, let me know if rain falling all days there, so. Why am here rain falling? But the blow 7 you and all laughing at Bossman early, so? Hey, Sandy Jones, you too? No, we go hear him a little later. We go hear the Bossman a little later. Yeah, we gotta wait till the rest come on to hear what the man is saying, eh? There's a very serious Bossman. Turn bushman. Turn crapo frog. And mosquito bites. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Aye. Oh boy, little. Lady Bossman, man. What are you going to say? Joyce, yeah. Bossman again. Yeah, Raja Maharaj. Yeah, Bossman out and bad. Afriza D. Muhammad. Bossman always complaining. Glory say rain falling here in Central. Nazali and Mr. Ali, a pleasant good morning to you all. Now say not Bossman Andy. Yes, Bossman Naz. Hear me and Acton say the Boss Whisperer and Bush Mako. Oh, the man is going to make sure no mosquitoes. He said that this caused dengue earlier. So this is a very serious thing. Don't get kicked off for that. The man is fighting the dengue and mosquitoes, biting people himself. I remember you have a racket, you have a mosquito racket. You see a big crap on snake and all kind of thing in the place there now. So don't be a Bossman at all earlier. Bossman reporting, the man the man is multi-talented. The man letting you know about dengue. That is a very serious thing. The man helping fight dengue. Well, where is it come aboard and the BCT tours and many others say, stay safe and remember drive to stay alive. Well, obviously it's alive, you're trying to say. It is better to be late than dead. On time, too much accidents. Cut back on the speed. Yeah. I was a wheel on the Bossman. Bossman gotta come in a little later on. Yeah. Other people have to hear the man. The man at the end of the day, this brave. The man fighting dengue. Fighting overgrown bushes, down to vines on the line, and take walk and all the fighting, so they don't vex the Bossman at all. Afi said the Mohammed say, oh boy, good morning Andy Pitbull. Tafika Balkaran just laugh. Chavadin say, Bossman is PNM propaganda messenger. Glory say, poor Bossman. And he help Bossman. Ghana say he want bus upshot. Nadira morning, Nadira say, where this boss man appear from? He is a good entertainer. Well, we will hear, because this man, a lot of the things the man saying is be truth. The man fighting for the right, or let care vex the man. The man is very consistent. All of those vexed boss man at all. Selwyn Batiste morning. Bubian John morning. Kamati morning. Barup, why we going partner morning? Pearl Sammy say, oh gosh, boss man again, Lord Father. And Maria, a pleasant good morning too. Marilyn Sicharan. And Matilda Rhodes, a pleasant good morning, baby. Good morning to you, baby. And Teacher Balmain, all of you a pleasant good morning. Safi, good morning. On top of things with that, oh boy. Javadine say, bossman, they say COVID bus virus. Wait, bossman, they said to call it COVID and all. 10 years, Joyce said 10 years. He was on holidays, didn't fight in COVID, come and gone, and still it have mosquitoes to deal with. Oh, lady man. Rosa, morning. John, morning. Grace. Angela, morning. As Angelina. Morning to you. Afro Sally, morning.
Bang, 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 bang.
But Gonzalez out there say Gonzalez morning. Those problems with PTSD was perfect for 10 years. Not that's the normal behavior of all PTSD employees. Deborah, pleasant good morning to you. Hey, Mr. Clarence, good morning. Faye, good morning. Dennis C. Paul and Journey, a pleasant good morning. Rusty Nail, good morning. Big Ram, good morning. A&A Doubles and Roti, a pleasant good morning to you all. Noel Brown, Gita Brown, all of you. Son-in-law, Kevon, Sadia. Good morning to each and every one of you. A&A Doubles. I see TKK Smokehouse. I see Trinidad Killer Open. ETK Smokehouse there in New York. Long lines. I wish you the best. I hope you do well. Make sure you do well. Put away your money. Become something. You could sing, you have good music, you just sing good. Let's say your hand good. All you need to do as a black brother is just... All you need to do as a black brother is just be constructive, safe. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself within the law. And you go make real money day, boy. People is long for Trinidad food. Well, good Caribbean food. Sure you go be crab and dumpling, this, that. People go have it nice day, boy.
Mickie, morning Lennox, morning Mickie, morning Sean Tobago, morning to everybody on the line. Andy, listen to this now. So I see Madam Delcy, right? Just imagine this woman who come to Trinidad under the cover of darkness, and we're only claiming that, and Stuart and then claiming, right, that them don't know anything about this visit and all kind of stupidness and nonsense. But here's your story, you know. This woman threatening the Caribbean. She's threatening Trinidad and Tobago. And I noticed it's becoming more and more frequent now, right? First is a big fat man in Venezuela, the Caballo man, and then the general, right? And now it's Delcy. But I want to tell Venezuela and Delcy and Maduro and them something. All they try all that bravo, so all talk, all the talking the. Because all they know, if all they could really do it, all they done in beach and to be gone Guyana a long time. But here what's going on? Go to sleep. So if all is so big and bad, all they try it and see what will happen to all you. Where you feel all they existing and only one hour. All is a country unto all yourself. Look all Delcy, look Gill, look Hall, and Maduro Hall, because your time very soon coming up. All they panicking. I know all they panicking. Uncle Trump, you know the keys. Later. God bless.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Oh boy, he talking there real serious too, but he talking there like we have an army. I want my partner remember it's a regiment we have, you know. Trinidadian, they talk big when they are backings, boy. Hey, he ended by saying Uncle Trump, look how Trinidad talk now. When they are backings, oh God, Trinidadian bad, you know, yeah, but bad. Whoa, yeah, hey, Hall, hey, Mudu Hall. Whoa, Trinidadian bad. Trinidadian and Tobagonians. Mr. Pleasant, good morning to Tobago. Good morning to you, Tobago. When they are back in, so they're bad. Yeah, he has submarine out there. He has aircraft, Trinidad the aircraft carrier out there. Trinidad the fighter jets, everything waiting, yeah. Trinidad bad. Yeah, the Trinidad. Oh, Lord.
Good morning, ground report. So the government has changed, but the police still remains in general URP, another URP, and a PNM party group with the characteristics of being corrupt, lazy, and unproductive. All governments have a response in the past of just throwing money and expenditure on the police, building lavish new police stations. These stations only serve to keep the police indoors and hiding in air-conditioned rooms. I have a strategy for the police. I'm calling it the notebook strategy. That is giving all stations hardcover notebooks to record all patrols and should have signatures of residents of the area where the patrol took place, as well as the patrolling officers. Because the police are not going inside villages where crimes are planned and we have gangs inside. The police are not going inside, and we are not seeing the police, whether it's SOE or in normal times. So this is falsification of police records by stating that in their diaries that they are doing patrols when they are not. And this has to be done in conjunction with senior police, that is police in khaki. Thank you.
Sandy Jones said Maduro must be a coward to attack a defenseless island. Yeah, but we partner, they ain't talking like that. And our leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad, says, sir, she ain't talking like that neither. Our leader talking like we partner there too. But then our leader must know why she could talk so, eh? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Good morning, ground report. It seems to me that some police are protecting gangs from Diego Martin to Sawa because we are only hearing about detention orders for the mainly East-based resistant gangs. So what will happen? The group murders, that is 3 murders, 4, 5 murder incidents, which have been taking place in Belmont and Diego Martin and Port of Spain and around the Port of Spain hospital or the Belmont Valley Road or the circular road will resume the following day. The SOE comes to an end. So what should be happening is that each police division during this SOE should be closing down at least one gang every 2 weeks during the SOE. So when the SOE comes to an end, we will have a significant reduction in the number of gangs which have been closed down. Because the police have been saying they want legislation, and what happening is that the government will institute a set of draconian legislation affecting everybody, like giving people 25 years for possession of guns and that kind of thing. The police needs to act on the gangs during this SOE. Thank you.
Echo for us here, Andy. America's war against drugs. 1 country down, 2 more to go. Andy, Mexico is the first country. 15 billion American take from a cartel kingpin, El Mayo. He named. Okay. Mayo, eh? Oh boy, they say here. Gonzalez said there are no police patrols on the highways in the residential areas after the Caroni Bridge, and apparently only street lights on the west to east highway need to work. Okay, need to work. It have no drivers on the south. Trying to understand that message, Gonzalez. But I read it the way you send it. I understand, right? There is no patrol on the highways, you see, and in residential areas and them thing, right? We all understand that. We're saying it have no street lights on the west to east highway. It could be that. And we mean by need to work it, need to get it to work, I want to believe that we're saying have no drivers on the south. We mean it have no drivers on the south. So anyhow, all of the lines are open to while I run through voice notes and read some of your messages, eh? Hey, morning, the original Pachi, Joe Village, California, good morning to you. Cindy Mohan said the person who made a mockery out of Mr. Parap is a very sick individual. But at the end of the day, all the news went with it. All social media went with it. Pastor John, good morning to you. You're too wicked. But 4,000, 20,000. You're big butcher. Next, is that what you want? It's blows and more blows. CPAP workers, blows. URP workers, blows. Where's that there? Your bulging? Your bulge? No, let me. No, the workers, CPAP, I'm a citizen, right? Workers are fed up with Barry Padat and his regime, and they come out to give him some blows. They want Barry Padat to know that they're very upset with the leadership and of the country. He in particular. So we want to express our feelings for him. Blows for him. Bull pistol. We have bull pistol for him. Look, some more. Bull pistol. Bull pistol. There's a man.
Hold on before you hit me.
Bull pistol.
Me one again.
Bull pistol.
Oh, Lord. The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
How many workers are fire? How much workers are fire? You're too wicked. Where's that there? You're too wicked. But 4,000, 20. How many workers are fire? How much workers are fire? You're too wicked. Where's that there? You're too wicked. But 4,000, 20,000. You're big butcher. Next, is that what you want? It's blows and more blows. CPAP workers, blows. URP workers, blows. Where's that there? Your bulging? Your bulge? No, let me. No, the workers, CPAP,
I'm a citizen, right? Workers are fed up with Barry Padat and his regime, and they come out to give him some blows. They want Barry Padat to know that they're very upset with the leadership and of the country. He in particular. So we want to express our feelings for him. Blows for him. Bull pistol. We have bull pistol for him. Look, some more. Bull pistol. Bull pistol. There's a man.
Hold on before you hit me.
Bull pistol.
Me want to get.
Roma Price say why he wasn't beating Rowley and him both so. Calvary Spirit sake, Roundy, why you keep repeating that? I repeat it to really and truly see. Based on what it is Roma Price is saying. You know, when Rowley them was saying nobody wasn't beating them. Except the ground report. Morning caller.
Yes, Andy. Mickie, Lennox, Smith, and Tobago Central here. Pleasant. Good morning.
Yes, Central.
Yes, man, Andy, boy, we get a little surprise of Monday morning. What I am now seeing there that you know, the clipping there that you got.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, why these good for nothing, crab in a barrel, dirty-minded, bad mind, have no vision, dirty blue flies and them of the PNM regime, right? Why they wasn't doing that under the last administration? This man promoting what, violence? When they ask him what his name you're talking about is a citizen, this man needs to be charged and locked up for promoting what it is he's promoting.
Yeah, go ahead. You start back by mistake. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying, Annie? Trinidad and Tobago, is that something right of what it is that individual went and did yesterday? Or whenever he went and do that? Why you don't go and look for Rowley and hang him like Judas? Then we have to go and look to one wet after wetting. You understand what I'm saying? That's the one who has to get the blows. No padarat. You understand? Number one, you see the level of racialism there. Number two, he's very disrespectful. Number three, they have no kind of form of respect for this government. You understand? Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. You see, where the United Nations, which is the UNC, running this country, plenty of them still can't believe it to know the kind of licks, the kind of wetting they get. You understand what I'm saying? On the 28th of April, go on. Trinidad and Tobago, you see what our Mr. went and do this? That individual, he is too old to face any law penalty in it. You understand what I'm saying? I will call that promoting violence against. You understand? And I would like to know what the authorities are doing concerning that. Because when PNM was in power, you never see no activists of the United National Congress went and do them kind of rubbish, them kind of level of disrespect. You ever see any one of them put on any PNM jersey on anybody and doing them kind of thing? Beating a dummy and saying about his next Rowley one, his next Rowley one? What kind of level of disrespectful is that? Why PNM can never come back here again by? You understand? Them the precipice already down there and them ain't gonna resurrect no way. Penny could do what she wants. She ain't going and come back no how. You understand? She posted up at such a nice store and she paid about thank God. I said, God name in vain, woman. All our legs are such a bad spirit. These are people who will do anything for power and wealth. You understand? But I would like to know what the authorities and the minister is going to do concerning that individual. Because he was out of place and disrespectful. He has to face the full brunt of the law. You understand? And thank God none of the UNC activists had passed same time. Because I don't know what will be right when the outcome. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what will be the outcome. It might have had a clash. So you know why? There's a level of disrespect. You understand what I'm saying? You can't go about doing them kind of things. You need to get a face like Crowley and put it on a number, one of them dummy had it, and you have to beat that until it bleed. You understand what I'm saying? That's the one you have to go on with. That kind of level of disrespect, something has to be done about that. Why? I don't understand. Why the supporter, the PNM, does always have to be on this kind of level of outer time in it? Let me be real. All that very disrespectful outer time in an outer place, boy. Down on the central level, we don't go to them kind of thing, Andy. No, boy, we don't go to them kind of thing, boy. And these people and them have to set an example in this country, boy. You see what I'm going to do there? See what I'm telling you? Something has to be done about that, innit? Don't play a role, not yourself like you're the hero in the country. And feel wait till they went and do they want to get you with that, innit? But then you have to feel the full brunt of the role, innit? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what you saying is that come like he promoting violence?
Yes, boy, Andy. Ask anybody I wait to see anybody come on the and ask the question.
Oh,
that is promoting violence. And you had a low one and monogram and stuff, the jersey where you don't know where you're doing that for.
And then he call the person name too, showing a violence.
Yeah. The person name too. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Why don't want to look for the Rowley and the this one and the that one? You understand the short young and the next one who got the two children hiding all over the place. You understand? Go and look for them, make dummies out of them, and you have to beat them until their head split open. Them is who you have to go and look for. You understand what I'm saying? Or they can be coming around. You know what's wrong with the PNM? I'm going to tell you something. You see that bully mentality? Hey, this is 2025, you know. And people need to understand when it's up to their time right now. They're not back in the days, you know. You understand? People head on the body, they're thinking the right way. They see what's going on. They seen from the last administration, they kind of ratchet your feet. You understand what I'm saying? Them vex, because they get in court. The vex when they come into the light. This nasty buying care on a country, dirty, dead PNM government. You understand? Everything getting rooted from the root now, boy. So they don't like that. Except the CPEP, the URP, the this and the that, all of them have to put a pause. Because you know why? All of them, the small man, have to pay the penalty to the big man. Because when you see it can't fix from the top, it has to fix from the bottom come up. You understand what I'm saying? And it starts from the top with the last administration. PNM is so stink and nasty, Andy. Yeah? And they will never come back there. So all of them in the PNM could haul. At the ending of the day, we put in right thinking people let us see about the people business. And that's what we're talking about. It's no PNM coming back there. You understand? That's done gone. We can't bring back the dead. The dead done dead. And the next thing too, Andy, I want to draw to your attention. Coming to the police service. Trinidad and Tobago, they don't make up thing. This is some experience. You see, the police service is a serious thing. Hear what I'm telling all you. It is a serious thing. You see, when you're working inside and you're working up your way to reach certain position, let me tell you something. You see, the people that you're working among is the most crucial, critical people. Hear what I'm telling you. There is just one, there's vex, there's envy. This is from a past family member situation I'm telling all you about it. You understand what I'm saying, Andy? At the end of the day, when you elevate in that work, when the car gets here physically, they're going spiritually and doing a certain mad thing. You understand what I'm saying? People say we don't believe in these things. We know these things, we don't want to believe in it, but it exists, people. Trinidad and Tobago, these kind of dirtiness exists. And anytime you see elevating, it could be even in that service, it could be anything. These things exist. And let me tell you something, when all they feel they could do them kind of thing, it will go come back 10 times worse because you see that father above, we're dealing with righteousness, boy. And all you have to learn to stop doing them kind of nastiness. You understand what I'm saying? Trinidad and Tobago, we know that from the last administration we was under, which is the stinking, dirty-minded PNM government. That was an Obeah man one in the country that people couldn't see the way. And right now, we deal with it is a slow pace, but we come in a show. That's why I'm glad that UNC had think the right way and deal with the people and the issues as what it is to go in and deal with. So far, so good, and we want them to keep on the right track. You understand what I'm saying? So coming back to that person who the way to see went and did Andy, we're looking on to see what is the authorities going to do with he. He can't do something like that and they're away in the sight of the law. That is a total madness because I have never seen no UNC activists went out there and do them kind of thing when the same dirty-minded, corrupted, dead PNM government was running this country. I have never seen that. You see that Andy anytime? I never see that. And I'm sure anybody in Trinidad and Tobago never see that. So something has to be done about that. Yeah? We don't want to hear use as citizen part.
The only time I see that kind of thing is Good Friday. You know when it's Good Friday.
That's right. You saw that.
Other than
you
that,
saw that. We
out
don't
there
see
in
that
the front of the parliament, that come like promoting violence. You encouraging people to beat this man.
That's right. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know what's the problem about, oh, he's on a male, he looks like a female. Let me tell you something. First, they need to go and do, they need to go and check Penny and see what it's called it? What
gender, yeah, what gender she is.
That's right. You understand? And then after they go know which leader they really have. It's either a male or a female. So let the whole affair then could hold. We have time with that. But something needs to be done about that particular person, about wait till he went and promoted. That is a serious thing. We are taking that. So Trinidad and Tobago, remember, keep all their head above waters with one people, one nation, one love. Let me keep that goodness. Let me restore back goodness in this country and get rid of all of the bad spirit. You see that next one we used to be talking about is war, is war, is war. They say them things done, rotten and forgotten. We're moving forward here. It's forward, backward, never. That's what we're talking about, Andy. So at the ending of the day, it's unity we're looking at. Just remember, Central and the house, we locked on and listen, Andy, and it's that.
All right.
Good morning, Hoover Police Station, WPC Daniel speaking. How may I help you this morning?
Hi, guys. Corporal, who's speaking, is it? Morning.
WPC Daniel speaking.
Oh, WPC Daniel. All right. Miss Daniel, you are live on a program named the Ground Report Program. Just calling to just find out what constitutes, because we're studying what constitutes like exciting violence, where it's a crime, like, you know, where you can charge somebody, you could say, well, she hung up, boy. That is a simple thing. You don't hang up. What constitutes exciting violence? I want to find out. Let me see if I can call an ex-police. Man, I want to find out that. Let me see if Central have a point. Hi, a pleasant good morning. I'm not calling your name at all. I know you are a ex-police officer. There's your partner, Andy Williams. We are live on the program. I just want to find out something from your officer. I'll address you. I'll just address you as officer. What constitutes violence? Like promoting violence or promoting somebody to harm somebody? Does it have a charge for that or anything? For like, what I'm talking about, sir, is that recently we see on Friday there, a gentleman was in Woodford Square, have up a dummy of Barry Potter, UNC jersey, calling his name too, calling the person full name, and beating this person live in public, beating. Hey, you do this, hey, bam, bam. Does it have any charge for that or anything, or that is normal? I only know about that like on a Good Friday. So just want to find out if there any charge for that, or if there is exciting violence or making people want to beat Barry when they see him or something. How would you describe that for me, sir?
Well, I won't think that is violence in itself, but even though it connotes that a violent outcome to an individual doesn't mean that the person who is doing the act of the violence is actually being violent. So actually, the person has to be harmed personally. Otherwise, there would be no violence.
Oh,
no tone of innocence.
Oh,
or violence.
So it's only evidence it was the person real he beaten. That is it.
That's correct.
All right. So having up a portrait and beating someone don't constitute no type of nothing.
Come again?
So having up a bully, resembling a person or a mannequin or anything, and beating someone, it don't constitute no type of charge or anything like that.
No. That is not. That would not be anything to charge a person. You cannot say that a person is violent by using an effigy or unreal person to decide violence. You cannot say that that person is being violent against some effigy or statue or whatever.
So you can't say that that person inciting violence?
No. You would not be able to say that because the point is, you see, that is a tradition that is held every year by something we call a boboli. A boboli is just a symbol of something that you are against. But it would not be to actually say that the person is being used or is being acted on violently. It is just something that is a tradition, and that the person who is being used, whose name is being used to perpetrate the act, is not being actually harmed.
Oh, they're not being actually harmed. So that is just tradition day, and so if I want, I could organize and go by the parliament next Friday and put up a rowley and a steer on a penny, all of them, and I could give them some blows.
Well, anybody can do that. But you see, yes, you can do that, as long as there is no actual harm on the person itself.
Okay.
The statue or the effigy, you cannot harm that person because that is not alive. You do not have feelings to hurt anybody.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your cooperation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your assistance. Like that question was too hard for the woman by the Kufa police station. Something simple. Now tell police in some of them police in this country dumb. Really dumb. You call the police station and you have all right to just to find out something. And she kind of answer something so simple. We try to constitute what is inciting violence. And if somebody can be charged for what went on Friday. Ah, boy, you tell me the police woman in the police station there. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Andy.
Go ahead.
Mickie K, Lennox, Newbie, or whoever the director. I always call him Newbie. Andy, that is something simple. Without a police or past police person to ever explain you, that is something simple, Andy. Mr. Good morning to Israel Khan, attorney at law. You see what Israel Khan did with that Ivar Chipetier? Because you were fed up and me take it here and started mash it up with the hammer. Right? It's among the police that have by that Red House. It had police inside. It had the TF inside. It had court and process outside. It had police in khaki witness that. Why wouldn't they arrest the person? You see what you did there this morning, Andy? You see, I don't know how to tell you it. Central, you should have some call and talk about that. Andy, you shouldn't say me hear that. Some years ago, someone told me, call somebody, somebody can take on you calling them name on the radio, you know. That why Scotland can stop and say, Anderson, you do tell you get rid of Heinz, and he laugh. Because still like Scotland, attorney at law and all. You see, Mikey don't like Heinz and all. Right? So he tell me by calling Heinz name for 10 and 15 years, as you just say, every day Heinz. They have to remove that. So don't get no play. Don't get Aruka. Don't get Aruka, no play. Right? Look, man, let's stop it this morning.
Who's that record? The man who was beating the bubbly?
Yeah, but I tell you, don't get that no play, don't get that no year play. We are more serious thing
I know he faced from somewhere, boy.
There's a Ruka. Twiggy passed at the same time. Twiggy's a big UNC activist. Why Twiggy didn't stop him? She can play more than UNC activist. Right? She's the biggest UNC activist. Why she didn't go up in the face and stop him? All you leave me now, boy. The man probably were in his rights. We UNC don't want to do nothing. PNM people still doing. PNM people still getting work. Or they give me a glance, speak about something else this morning, Andy. Don't get out no play. We point up that play, the world watching that. My family from Grenada now call me and tell me what is Andy doing. Not because there is nothing guy no more, you know. Before all there was a guy, my family said, listen, you got report in Grenada. So I say good morning to Margaret McQueen and all of them up there in Tempe. Go with you, Andy. Don't get up no play, brother, man. Let me call you and talk about something else. That thing to get played. See, we play this morning with the Honorable Prime Minister. We play with Kamala. That's how they say Trump. Because anybody can say Kamala too. All they don't come here with no Anbong, and Anbong don't come with no stupidness here this morning. You don't think tell people in here forward. You stop telling people about meeting. When you come to tell people about Honorable, anybody can do that? And they change that topic. Sensible people, the education listening. Nobody don't want to see nobody beating a dummy or Barry. Barry is we. I don't know good sense people, man.
Oh boy. Come on, the lines are open. I'm missing some calls there. All right, the lines are open. Go ahead, caller. Morning.
Morning. This is Kangali talking here.
Go ahead, Kangali.
Yes. What I want to know is that how it is now, these people I don't want to know how long school will take to build, how long they taking to do this, how they didn't do that when they was in power. Why didn't think about that? And now they want to know how long it will take. And that man who was beating that Boboli in whichever it was, I think, in Torongo and so on. Why he take a piece of wood and let somebody beat him with it? Because it's too dotish. Yeah. They should beat him with it. The man that should be beaten, they are looking for him to beat him. They should beat that man. You understand? I get so vexed when I see them kind of thing. These people are doing something good in the country. They're changing on crime. But you see, they're afraid too, because all of them who beaten, they know the bracelet will go wrong their hands someday, very soon. You understand? So, I want to know why these people are getting on like that. They want to march, they want to do all kind of thing. And all these years past, people suffering and you can't get your pension, you can't get this and all kind of nonsense. I think it's high time somebody should wear a bracelet. And I make a dream, you know. I make a dream and see a whole set of fellas in bracelet who come to one another like a chain, marching to the big courthouse. And we go see that one of these good days. So let them beat and do all kind of thing. Let them have fun. They're so frightened that they don't know what to do. Mr. Tight Pants and all of them. And he shot them, thrown up. All of them. They will meet the day. Because they're so frightened of all the wrong that they did in this country. And people suffer so much. So I just waiting to hear. It's cock listening to hear when the big day will come. Right? So that's my contribution for this morning.
Thank you very much. Oh boy. But that man weak like the PNM boy. He beat that thing bam about 6-7 times and shoot somebody and all saying because I don't watching that. And that man gasping for breath. He weak. gasping for breath. Morning.
Good morning to you, Andy Williams. Good morning to you, Mickie K, Lennox Smith, and the listeners of the Ground Report. Andy Williams, I disagree with the police officer statement. I disagree because we under a state of emergency. We under a state of emergency, and we had a man. He says he's a citizen of the country. He was entitled to give the media his name, and he breaks some data. So we don't know. It could be an immigrant with a violent behavior in front of the parliament, littering on the fencing of the parliament, because that bubbly or whatever he put over there, that is really littering on the fencings of the parliament and behaving with a dangerous weapon, because it wasn't 6 inches or 4 inches, with a dangerous weapon, beating on the fencing of the parliament and telling the media, we giving him bull pistol. We have bull pistol. Bull pistol is an illegal, dangerous object that citizens not supposed to have in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We also see him with a dangerous piece of wood. We don't know if it's wood or iron or what. Beating on the object that he literally, the fencing of the parliament. Beating on the parliament fencing. That is not against the law, officer. Under a state of emergency, a man behaving violently outside of the parliament, that is not against the law, especially under a state of emergency.
Whoa, like you have a point there. But Anderson open me my place. Tell me, well, what thing in because that is what was in my mind too. I know we're in a state of emergency, and I know when it is we was in a state of emergency and we wanted to go out and protest and think that we couldn't do it.
It didn't have a man praying. A man was not praying outside of parliament by the fencing. A man had a dangerous weapon like that with the intention to kill a bubbly with the image of a human being. In a state of emergency, I can't take a piece of wood, officer, and go by the parliament and put up a picture at anybody and beat on the fencing of the parliament. They will take me to the madhouse. They will take me to the hospital and see if everything all right with me.
But they will say that in the parliament, they will say that Woodford Square.
The parliament right here.
Okay.
And that is the fencing of the parliament. That Woodford Square fencing. And that is the spot I'm speaking about. You can't do that. Even though I can take a dangerous object, a 10 feet, a 8 feet piece of wood, 2x4, and go and beat on the fencing at Woodford Square. Say that beating a bubbly when it's not Good Friday and it's not the holiday for that. And all the police officers them they pass and watch me doing that in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and say he had the rights to do that. I don't have the rights to do that. That is causing a disturbance in what's supposed to be a peaceful area. That's supposed to be a protected area. It's supposed to, under a state of emergency, there's supposed to be police right around the parliament. And it is half police around the parliament. How could we allow that? I can take a piece of wood and go and beat on the school fencing. And the parliament, around the parliament building is more secure around than school. I can do that. I can take a piece of wood and go by any government ministries, a dangerous weapon, and go by any government ministries and hang up a picture of somebody, or hang up a bubbly of somebody, or just put a shirt and a pants and hang it up over there and a picture on somebody's face and beat on the fencing. I am asking the police service this question, can I do that? before even thinking about doing that, as a law-abiding citizen of this country, if that fella was, I would know I cannot do that. That's against the law. There is a time to be bubblies. And the only place you can put bubblies is in public places. And don't tell me the parliament fencing is public place. You hang up something over there that is littering. Anything you hang up and you put in the bin after, that is littering. Thank you, Andy Williams. Blows for Barry. You should be blows for that fella. And the police must investigate that. They must investigate that.
Before you go to, you can remember real activist is quarreling about something. So let me just think something else there before you go.
What you use the lawyer?
No,
use the lawyer?
You go tell me where you think about this.
Use the lawyer for them?
No, what's something else here just now? You tell me what.
But then don't try to show evidence.
No, I'm talking about something else. Not this. Just now. Just now. Something else I want to show you. Watch it here.
No person in Trinidad and Tobago under a state of emergency.
All right, that's so.
Under a state of emergency, Trinidad and Tobago, no citizen should have a dangerous weapon.
All right, hear this one. Listen to this one, right? Listen to this one.
Mind we own business and put we house in order.
Listen to this one.
From URP. They send on people from CPEP. They close down the Civilian Conservation Corps. When last y'all know of a young person who get a job in OJT?
Oh, God.
I hear that. I ain't here when we talking about trees and twigs.
When we start to mind we own business and put we house in order, it will be better. Don't mind my business. I don't even make time for all you. Twiggy don't even make time for all you. Twiggy, Christine Twiggy, live here from one Barcelona, she don't make time for all you. And all of us make time for me all how. Right? I can reach 100 years and the government want me to work for them. I am working for them. I know money. If all you don't know money, I know money. Right? So don't make me a problem with all you. Right? I just mind my business. I just mix and meddle upon and it all your business.
Right. So, what do we papa for Twiggy say? Every day she reach 100. The opposition leader, Penny Beckles, is saying, when last all here, people get OJT work, this, that. But they're coming to get some old woman I walk. But the woman, right, she says she reach 100 and she could still walk, she go walk. What's your thoughts?
I do have no regrets or have no bad feelings. The work that Twiggy get. Twiggy not in Point of Pear constituency. And especially in them PNM areas, they do have a UNC MPs in them areas. It must have activists, UNC activists in them areas. If she get the opportunity, I say, well, that is your blessing. That is your blessing. And I'm not going to say anything about any UNC activist that get opportunity in PNM constituency. I will just tell them they need to work harder. Once you get the opportunity to become independent, you need to work harder to ensure those electoral districts become a UNC constituency. That is what how I'm going to put that across. Twiggy, it take nothing from me in point up here over here. Twiggy, it deny me from nothing over here in point up here. My opportunity must come from point up here. I have somebody here to represent me in a UNC MP, Hansing Narayan Singh, to represent me here in point up here. Twiggy, the Beatum, and all these places and them, they need a UNC MP to assist them and give them the opportunity because they live in PNM constituency. And I will give the government 10 out of 10 and tell the government too, the UNC government, to show interest into the PNM constituency, especially seeing about them UNC activists and them in the PNM constituency. Somebody need to do it. That is how they will get more votes and more votes and more votes. The UNC activists in the PNM areas and them, they just need to work harder to make sure that them seats and them become the UNC seats and them. I have no problem with Twiggy. Twiggy never take nothing from me. And the UNC activists and them who will fight down that, don't envy somebody else's opportunity. Correl, for your opportunity, and don't watch the opportunity somebody else gets. Work to get your opportunity. Say things to get your opportunity. Do things to get your opportunity. That is what you need. That is what all activists need to be doing. Andy Williams, we learned this a lot. We learned this a lot in 20-something years. We are part of this now. And it's not a UNC activist or any activist or a human being. Any human being, once you believe he's a human being, you're not supposed to envy, especially when you all are brothers and sisters. You're not supposed to envy somebody's opportunity.
Okay,
take a page from the book.
So you are saying Twiggy is the UNC activist brothers and sister. She's a UNC activist. All of them is UNC activists together. All of them is born and hard-working UNC. And those also get vexed with Twiggy because she's a UNC just like them.
Well, for the past 5 years, I hear Twiggy calling radio station and applauding Kamala and condemning the PNM and saying that the UNC must win this election. The country voters must turn away from the PNM. I hear she saying that. And if ministers in the UNC hearing that and she associates herself with them, she go into the meetings and them see them in the meetings and them. I see she associated herself and she showing the work that she doing. And she gets the opportunity for the work that she do. That is, she set goals. She set goals and she get through with the opportunity. And we are applaud she for that. But the UNC activists and that it reached their destiny yet. I will still tell the ministers and them, seek the interest of the people them that put you over there. They set goals in life too. Just as Twiggy and many of the activists and them that set goals and get through. You need to see about the activists and them, MPs. Those activists and them don't have a UNC office, a MP, that they could go in them areas. They don't even have a UNC office in the BTAM. They don't have that. So that is why the UNC MPs and them that know the activists and them that work very hard for them, they had to show concern now. They had to show appreciation. And if you hear somebody UNC activists coming out and saying things, don't get vexed. You're not entitled to get vexed with the people and with the activists and them. You're entitled. You have a constitutional responsibility, MPs, to listen to them. Once they're not rude and disrespectful, to listen to them and take heed and do what you swear to do by representing them and giving them the opportunity to have a better life. That is what they put you there for.
All right.
Trinidad and Tobago, have a nice morning.
Thank you very much.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
Go ahead, caller, you're live. What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Oh, I need your phone number. That is nice. New York friend here.
Go ahead. What's your contribution on the program this morning?
No, what I was saying about that man who was beating the so-called bubbly on the fence. I don't see any reason for anybody to be too offended about that. He just make an idiot of himself. They should laugh it out because when Rowley and them shut down Petrotrin, they didn't beat no bubbly, you know. Petrotrin was providing a service. Europe and CPEP been providing us, they're draining the treasury. It was the one. Petrotrin was putting money in the treasury. And nobody really mashed up the place for that. Nobody put no bubbly and beat Espin or Rowley. So leave them alone. The person they should go after, I feel, is this one called Julia Davy. They told the people, she people have not after, the stupid people who listen to she, to go, jump, deal with it.
So watching that one as more inciting violence than the bubbly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, of course. You see it, you hearing it. The man just beating all bubbly. And the man just wanted some likes and things, so leave him alone. But I find for a big man, and he look like an ageable person, he is an example for young people. It's kind of distasteful. I think maybe that is how he grew up, that is his mentality. He cares about that's my child. I know old people that tell you, have some patience, give the people a chance, you know. Old people will tell you that. And if anybody can't see what this government doing right now is compared to what the PNM did in 9 point how much years, there has to be really something wrong with these people. Something really wrong with these people. I heard a caller just talk about Twiggy. Twiggy come out in the open before the elections, long before the elections. She talk about it. She don't like what Rowley and them doing. She keep on talking. Every time I hear about Twiggy talk, she tell them they're going to lose the elections. She tell them they will lose the election, but she went and she's supporting the UNC. And look, she's supporting the UNC now. She get a little bit, you understand me? And I hear she on next interview or whatever she is do on she social media thing. She says she's going to get the school fixed. How is she going after? And believe it or not, knowing the Prime Minister that we have right now is a woman who have a lot of passion for children and education. So you know she's going to make sure that that school get fixed. Everything will be okay. But other than that, those study that man and the police officer who hung up before and yeah, she probably didn't want to make any comment or anything to, you know, put herself in any problems with anybody. So leave she alone. The other police partner gave his opinion, and then you got a response on that. I can go to the littering charge because we don't know what the man do if he leave the bubbly hanging up and it is a littering charge, you understand?
Yeah. And
But
I think I think to a bull pistol is illegal. In real, as Kunchi say, as COP say. But again, I just watching that as a Good Friday bubbly kind of bacchanal things first up.
Yeah, that's all a small thing. But then again, you're in a state of emergency. It has certain, you have limits.
Yeah,
what you can do.
That's the point Kunchi making. He's saying during a state of emergency, You can't do that. You can't hang up probably beating people or showing a form of thing outside the parliament, whatever. But again, it's called here, and the police, some of police here, and they ain't doing nothing. So obviously, maybe wasn't doing nothing, and then this government, not like the last one, where a situation like that they go really lock up somebody. Compared to this government, just let the JS bray, let them just let them bray.
Yes. But see, the talk about CPAP and thing. Look at a popular radio post. Was collecting about $9,000 a month, and she never one day go on the job or what? I wish it was some coordinator or something. We don't call nobody name. But then, who making money in CPAP? Is it the workers and they're getting pittance? Is the contractors and them?
No,
and that's what the government going after.
No, instead of them making the money.
I think.
No, instead of them making the money.
I think. My personal view is to do like Farley. Let the government pay the CPAP workers. Let the government control the CPAP. No contractors not control it. And the CPAP will get, you see all the extra money them contractors getting, CPAP workers can get a little bit increase in their salary.
Now, but watch me, between me and you, between me and you, I disagree with you 100% here. Why? In Trinidad here, if the government is to control that CPAP, it will end up IURP. It will end up bad. Real bad. Because now, whoever is the government foreman could organize and tell her, oh yeah, you gotta come to work today and sign the book for them and remember, nobody out there supervising that. You know? Always remember that. Compared to if it's private and it's a contractor running the CPAP, they now will enforce that the workers really come to work and the workers really do their work. Because if the worker don't come to work, they get less in their money. So they need the workers to come to work and work, be present, in order for them to get the whole package. The package. With all the workers coming to work, they can't get a package. And then it have a fields officer in the tail to make sure that the contractor do the work. Because the field officer now go past and say, well, all right, yeah, you do this amount of work for the day, right? They really work, they really think, sign the book, and all that bacchanal thing will go on. But you know, it's government to government, it have no private in between there. Remember, I tell you, that going on mash up. Because CPAP at the end of the day, it's a very good program. CPAP at the end of the day was doing the work. It just have one or two little bubble within the CPAP with like most. Other than that, most of the CPAP, the people had to work for the money. Most have to work. Had to work. That is a fact, I'm telling you.
Okay.
CPAP was even working harder and more than corporation workers. Ask anybody, let me not bring the politics in it, let me talk the truth. Lennox Smith, I see you there. A pleasant good morning to you. Was CPAP a bad thing, or was CPAP workers or contractors in the majority was doing their work?
Remember, it was a bad thing,
No. Something wrong. Something wrong with your mic. Your mic and something good. Go ahead, call about the time.
Yeah, and I agree with it, but
don't put that government at all.
All right, I can understand that too. But remember, these people who check on the contractors, and then he keep eating a food from the contractors, not even from home.
The only way a contractor will make money is if they have 2, 3, 4 companies register. In this last dispensation, what a contractor was making is at 18,000 a month or 20,000 a month or so, you know. And then they still have to organize and deal with the workers and all the gas and the hose and the barrels and organize have the accountants and all this bacchanal thing. When and who might be paying rent for some building somewhere to have an office and all them kind of thing. CPAP long time had money for contractors. P&M again always don't like poor people. Because most of the contractors is a poor average person. And P&M again don't like poor people. So what they do? The same hungry contractors and them, they cut them from 6 teams where I was getting like 30,000 when the month come, and cut them to 3 teams, where only getting 18, 20,000 when the month come. That PNM, they don't like poor people to get nothing. So them contractors and them, they fighting up for nothing really, you know. For nothing really. Long time contractors used to make a little kakada. That's 6 teams. They're making a 30,000 when the month come. Right thing. Now, boy, that piano water down that boy.
Are you hearing me better now?
Yeah, we hear you better. And then when they want to shoot, CPEP really used to be out there. You'll see them there 10 o'clock in the day. Not like the URP where you wouldn't see URP at all. CPEP really used to attend to schools. CPEP really used to send to community centers. CPEP really used to attend to the roads. Let me do mix it. Let me be talk the real. It just really reforming. Let reforming things are put in place. And the government of Trinidad and Tobago should start back the CPEP. It is a good. Them just work harder than the corporation workers and do more work, you know. That's facts, you know.
But then judging from what you're saying, you don't agree with shutting down the CPEP?
No. We can't do that. That is a good program, boy. What we can do is, if the country don't have no money, what we can do is they'll just cut down the amount of contractors. Remember, it had 300 and something contractors. So they could just cut down some of the contractors, but they had to keep the program. The program is really a good program. I wouldn't lie to you. It is a good program. Not only that, it also had UNC people working CPEP, you know. Although it's a PNM contractor, but plenty plenty UNC activists and UNC people in UNC areas was working for the PNM contractor, and that was getting our bread and butter. We have to open it back because remember, we have no foreign investors coming in Trinidad. We ain't start let me say, a construction boom in building HEC houses and them kind of bacchanal thing. We ain't do, it have no work. These people was working, whether PNM supporters or UNC supporters too was working in it too. I agree with the reforming of the CPEP and all them things where it go. But by the meanwhile, we have to put it back there because UNC people have to live too. You understand?
Yeah.
And the job was provided not only, the contractors was PNM, but the workers was we people too. PNM people, yeah, PNM people, but it's we people too was working on the roads there.
I agree when you say we people do. What I want to say is that the people who are working were Trinidadians.
Yeah, was Trinidad and Tobagonians, yeah. And it's only fair.
Those people sounding kind of, you know.
All right, I agree. And the next thing is, where the URP was really a big ghost. The PNM had the URP for a whole 10 years ago. It wasn't on the road. Compared to the former government, URP still used to do box trains, this, that, all kind of thing. URP was out there. So the restructuring of URP, which they have to open, they will open back URP too. But after restructure it, right? And they will have to put when they come into supervision, serious supervision in place. Because that government they know. They know like a contractor controlling it, where he want to get you money, so he go make sure people come out and work. Compare with government to government and Trinidad and Tobago, and about where we will jump up and say, man, is the government, boy, take a day, boy, don't come to work this week, we go sign the book for you. You got real corruption. You understand? So with the reform of the URP, I'm saying that the URP workers should come out for a 2 hours work, because the money is small. It's money really small, maybe about $800 a fortnight. That's small money, or 7 something or 8 something a fortnight. That's small money. So you can't go on the road and work for all day for that kind of stupid small money. Right? No, but what I'm saying is, the URP now will be based within the communities too. And they will have to have things in place to make sure, have proper checkers and proper supervision. Where if it have a team in Shogunas and that team working the Shogunas main road, keeping the Shogunas main road clean, it had to have supervision to make sure that that team really come out there and it's not a ghost. And whoever get the work as a foreman in the URP or checker in the URP, we had to hold them responsible. Where they will lose the work if work in do. That's how we go out to organize. But by the meanwhile, we have to put back the URP too. We had to put back the URP too. The URP had to go back. But it mustn't be ghosts. People must come out and do the work, but we had to pay back. By the meanwhile, because we all know before we win the government, this government, the former government, send home a lot of people work-wise. It have a lot of unemployment. So we can't afford for some people to be not at least getting something when the month come or when the fortnight come. But what we want in exchange is work. Because URP come like dole. URP come like dole in America. Right? It's really something to get back the poor. Especially, it have single parents that had to drop their children to school and pick up their children. And they could just do all their work early morning, but it had to be back home. Because remember, it had children home. I remember in this country, you can't leave a child under age home because I lock up. But you don't have no money to pay a babysitter either. So URP has its place. CPEP has its place. Forestries has its place. But we need to get money. Value for money. Yeah. We need to get value for money.
And then let me say something here. You see, it have a lot of talent in Trinidad. It have a lot of people could make a lot of stuff. You see, gardening. Let me tell you something.
That's one of the things they could do with URP in the reform. They should have a URP agriculture.
Export in America, they need a lot of things. They need a lot of stuff in America. Trust me. Good peppers. People should harvest good peppers. Follow the protocol, make sure it's proper. Dashing bush and thing. You know, remember dashing bush people be buying over here? Real dashing bush. Simple things, you know. I see green fig coming from Jamaica. Nice little green fig. Trinidad plant plenty green fig. And some people want the green fig from Trinidad. Because I still can open the place. You know what kind of fig you have to buy? You have to buy some big fat fig to make it go for whatever it is. I just do the same thing. Because we don't have no good green fig. Trinidad has to step up with the export. You see preservatives? You have to make preservative. People is long for that over here. Good pepper sauce. Good chana nuts. Good, good Trinidad snacks. We have a big population of Trinidadians here. If people in Trinidad go and do what they're supposed to do and be innovative, they could survive, you know.
And that's all that to do. All that to do is just make the programs, innovative programs, get the market out there as our government, get the market out there, and let them plant pepper, let them plant pumpkin, let them do certain things, and what extra, send it away. Flood the market with food.
Yeah, make sure then not one little weevil must come in because they're very, very strict over here with regards to like insects and things. You can't bring green mango from Trinidad. You can never do that because they say the mango is some little beetle and stuff. But guess what? That same green mango that will be falling out wasting all over the place, right? You get that green mango, you cut it up, clean all the seeds and everything. Once it's frozen and packaged properly, you have a market for that here. Simple things I tell you about here, that you have a market for, you know. We just called kurma. They have a big market for kurma and things. People want them things. Trinidad who living abroad want them things. There's a plenty of things to do. Trinidad is a place, and let me tell you, we have talent like that here. Trinidadians have talent here. People long time never know about pineapple shop and things. Who create pineapple shop? It's Trinidadians. Anyway, we're going to line out is pineapple chow.
Pineapple chow all over now.
It's a plenty things that could come out of Trinidad.
Well, anyhow,
so you got the people looking 2 hours, and they can find stuff to do. Because I see Spanish in Trinidad selling plantain chips on the road in the hot sun, and they survive it.
Yeah, that their market. Plantain chip is their market. Imagine that, them come to the market. Just like the gyro, them Syrian and them come to their market too. Anyhow, before people start to call in and curse, especially Krishna, and they have a man who have this man away talking long.
Everybody want KFC. You need somebody at Trinidad make a nice chicken, a fried chicken, and sell it at a reasonable price. They will they will create employment for their own people too. Yeah, more for KFC. But Trinidadians just like to run after the 1%ers. They like to support the 1%ers. The government they need to look into certain things to encourage people to do things and support them. That's what I want. Support. People want a little bit of support and doing what they have to do. I mean, the right way.
Somebody say green mango is very expensive in America. But anyhow, we gotta go. Thanks so much, Lennox Smith. A pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Yeah, pleasant good morning to you as well, my friend. I'm not seeing the usual on the screen. I have a monitoring screen here, so I'm not seeing. So maybe is either you might have omitted or mine's is a delay. Talking about
let me see.
The video, yes, above you. All right. That being as it may, you asked a question, and I think the topic would have been. I listened very profusely and very attentively to the debate relating to, of course, those persons who may be who have considered themselves UNC activists, and therefore, of course, comparing themselves with people like Twiggy and so on. And I have noted the argument for and against, so pro and con. I also looked at the whole question. I listened very profusely as well to the argument with respect to URP, CPEP, and should I say face of these projects moving forward. Once the corruption and the nepotism has been eliminated and the waste have been eliminated. And I think you are quite right with the latter. That is to say that all of these programs have their place. For forestry, for example, ostensibly is the reforestation of our landscape, because without it, you have greater runoff of water and greater flooding. So imagine if you didn't have it. It is there, and flooding takes place at the lower extreme in the country. So far, let's say, for if you didn't have it. And then, of course, you have the whole question of CPEP. Fundamentally, it came and might have been a sort of subsequent, because the precursor to that was the highway beautification program. And I think one after the next, and over time, it evolved into what is called CPEP now. Why? Because at one time, the country was seen as a dump, a landscape or a mass or a geography of dump. People were very callous, they were very careless in depositing their rubbish, but more importantly, the burgesses and the hedges of our highways and byways and communities were always strewn with some kind of garbage, and time had come, and thus, of course, the CPEP. But CPEP also presented a different model to that of what we would have been accustomed to under URP and under its previous incarnations. And I think CPEP has grown and has delivered that which was intended, because, CPEP, that model shows that the contractors would not be responsible for the payment. However, will be responsible for the supervision and making sure that the task that is given to that particular CPEP contractor manifested itself. And then, of course, you have a lot of what I consider be centralized operation, where the monitoring mechanism comes from the office itself. And therefore, you have roving people. You have, of course, persons to generate the checks and balance. However, URP has evolved into a very dysfunctional entity, and we saw that in the last administration, and it's very disconcerting that you have a situation where money is being expended, but you're not seeing any visible sign that what they would have been designated to do have not materialized. And what I'm talking about, box drains, for example, people on the streets in narrow areas, and of course, I think the model also suggests that it took into consideration housewives and persons who have those kinds of responsibility. They can, of course, get away early and still take care of their children. I think, and I agree that there is room for such an entity. I was having a discussion with Archbishop Barbara Grayburg and, of course, my own party, and we were looking at how do we, because one of the difficulty with the URP is the infiltration of those negative elements. I could say negative elements, but I think all of us know that is about gang and persons who want more than the fair share, ghostism and all of that. How do you eliminate that and keep the program focused on what the intent was? I remember very distinctly, for example, under the UNC, cerebral palsy mothers were given a menial task, but at the same time making sure that they got some kind of augmentation for the task that they have with the child, who of course is confined to bed, and therefore you needed some kind of assistance to such individuals, and URP was considered, the vote of URP was considered to be appropriate for that particular purpose, and I think it worked well. So you have those kinds of creative ways of treating with these matters, and the URP, of course, lends itself to that, except, of course, as I said, the negative elements that have infiltrated. Well, things like agriculture, I agree that there should be a lot of the people should be deployed there, as well as I think, and that is what Archbishop Burke came up with, and I think is not something unique, but is to be revisited, and that is women in particular. You generate some training opportunity, so that at the end of it all, you use the state resources via URP to train these women in particular, and it could be men as well, but the women in particular focus here, because we have a lot of single parent mothers or that take care of the household, and in such circumstance, they are now able, if they acquire the particular skill, they can now, of course, enter into become entrepreneurs in their own right, businessmen, micro and middle business owners, and continue to grow and to seek and to provide food on the table, so to speak, in such circumstance. So all of those are options that could be revisited, but very, very crucial is that the negative elements must not get any leeway, any opportunity to infiltrate. And so all of that has to be looked at. I have had some discussions with the program manager, for example, on those very issues. And of course, at the end of the day, as far as I am aware of, and it has been confirmed, that the Prime Minister ultimately will make the decision. It appears that in this particular case, she prefers to micromanage it to some extent, simply because of the negative outcome if it is allowed to continue in the way that it was, and therefore the crime situation will increase. The gang activities will continue. The gravitation to these kinds of should I say subterranean or negative conduct, which the society will not benefit from, because it has implications not just for domestic investment, but for international or foreign investment as well. Because when advisories come against Trinidad and Tobago in the metropolitan countries, whether it be United States, Canada, United Kingdom, they always say, don't go to Trinidad, but if you do go to places like Nelson Street and Laventille and so on. And of course, I was elated and very excited as well to see and to hear that there are people who are catching up with respect, of course, to the focus that you must place on communities like these, simply because it has repercussions for the entire society. Our image abroad, the way that people perceive Trinbagonians, and when violence and and crime, and of course terrorism, and all of that is part and parcel of the information that comes from Trinidad into the minds of ordinary people in this country that could make some kind of investment and therefore expand our economy, expand the GDP, generate employment opportunities. Then we know that we are losing a very important component that could make life and the standard and quality of life in Trinidad and Tobago much better. So I'm glad that I think it was Tungi is his name that mentioned that there should be some focus on these communities. As I've often said up to last night, that if you address the Laventil and the East Port of Spain, Beetham, Sealet's question, you really solve what is called blue-collar crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And that has always been so. That has always been my forte and my purpose for, of course, generating a different attitude, a different culture. And so, as a result, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago will ultimately benefit. But to take the narrow and myopic view that Laventil, because they have not yet come to grips with the fact that they ought to generate the paradigm shift that is required. That is to say, to vote for the UNC, vote for any combination of the UNC and coalition of interests or whatever they may come up with for electoral purposes. That is the way to go, and that is the place to be. Simply because the PNM have not only devastated, not only have disappointed, but clearly have lost their moral, ethical, political, I wouldn't say legal, because they continue, of course, to work within the parameters of how to contest an election. So I can't say legal, but certainly they have exhausted the people's tolerance as to whether or not they can make any difference, and for the development of areas such as this where they dominate, as is the case today. And so a local government, for example, elections is coming up. And because they still control electorally and by way of the electoral process and being representatives, both at the local and national level, and because Port of Spain, for example, the main city or the capital of Trinidad and Tobago, the main thoroughfare and the administrative and commercial center of Trinidad and Tobago, and the political as well, yes, because the parliament is situated there. The major courts are situated there, talking about the Hall of Justice, and all of the administrative apparatus of state is there. And then you have, of course, controlling politically the PNM at whatever level, whether it be at the national level or at the local government level. You could understand why they are so anxious to try to generate the disruption and so on. Imagine if the guy who, of course, plays that effigy of Pararat was living, let's say, in Guayaguayari or Sangre Grande or Rima. The likelihood that he would be reluctant, the likelihood that he will be reluctant to come into town, to spend money, to bring that to town and so on in order to treat with that is extremely rare, or should I say very narrow or very lean. But the fact is that you could walk across to the square from East Port of Spain, from Belmont, from Beetham, from Sealet, from on the hill. You understand why that is possible, but it generates a kind of image that suggests clearly and benefits, of course, the PNM 12 plus 1. It generates them because the more chaos and disconcertedness and mayhem and lack of trust in the present government that they could generate, it, according to them and their playbook, it works for them. And they have done that over and over, whether it be after the 1986 trashing, or whether after the 1995 loss, or whether it be after the 2010 loss. The fact of the matter is they have always been able to use these constituencies because of the high profile they they attract, in spite of the fact that they have remained, let's say, abused and misused and neglected by the PNM, they use them still to, of course, get back into office, and that must not be part of the understanding that if it is that has to be used, then the present government must understand that and therefore take corrective or counter measures, and one of which is what, of course, the caller rightly said, that you have to generate a kind of paradigm that is not a paralysis but a paradigm shift that will generate the consciousness among the population in these parts so that they do and act in their best interest and see the PNM as a leadership, as a party for who and what they are. They only have to be reminded of what is Balize House today, a party that came into government stating that they were in the red of over $5 million, but within 9 years they were able to construct a monstrosity of steel, mortar, and brick called Balize House. And therefore, you know, the only way that money could have come is because they were in government. And just in case, now that they're out of government, just in case people still have denial and somehow believe Rowley that is membership who provided that money, go to Balize House, check it out from now till next 3 years or 5 years, and see if it will move at all from where they left it on the 28th of April. Go and see for yourself, and then you will understand that it's only because they were in government, and therefore because of the corrupt act and the abuse of office, they were able to do such a tragedy and disservice to Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the membership, pretending that somehow they are upright and that they can manage the affairs of the country, that proved to be, of course, to the contrary. So those are the areas that I would want to address at this time of the budget coming up. The Prime Minister did say early next month, so we have an idea. It has to be early next year, very early in the first week thereabout, I would suggest, simply because there is a legal constraint. You have, of course, the national accounts team that has to be assembled of the parliamentarian to look at every line, and that is a process, and then you have to go to the Senate and so on, but it has to be completed within a certain time. I think by the end of October, that exercise is supposed to be completed, so we have a budget to treat with the finances of the country for 2026. So that we look forward to. Of course, there are some what I can say rousing, or by of course across the border from Trinidad. They're talking about Venezuela. I see that there's a new threat that was directed at us. I think from Maduro himself, apart from the Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, but there's a recent one where he's saying that if America attacks to some extent, words to that effect, then Trinidad and Tobago, in other words, will have to be attacked as well. That is what I interpret that statement to be. And while we know is, of course, saber rattling, we know is that the fact of the matter is that there are people in Trinidad who will take Maduro's seriously or use it for political mileage, and therefore harp on those comments and have people, of course, in a state of trepidation or in a state of anxiety. I say, do not be troubled. The Prime Minister has taken a position which ought to have been taken a long time ago under the Rowley PNM administration and Stuart Young administration, and indeed did not do that. And while we must be concerned of the definite silence of the present PNM leadership on those matters, the fact of the matter is that we have a government in place that has taken the correct decisions in terms of its foreign affairs and CARICOM affairs policy and positions, and it must be followed to the letter. And I am saying in no uncertain terms that the government is on the right path. We cannot disregard the most powerful army in the world, the most powerful economy in the world, and of course the largest economic partner that we have in this region and elsewhere. We are talking here about the United States. So those are some of the areas that I would want to focus upon, and that I'm sure that we will have some additional discussions on the matter during the course of the program, and of course leading up to. On the question of the state of emergency and that effigy, well, it is nothing different to Roger and they when they of course constructed an effigy or mannequin of the current prime minister. Then when she was prime minister between 2010 and 2015, and it is nestled in the whole concept of free speech. I am disappointed about somebody's conduct and or action, whether fair or unfair, whether justified or unjustifiable. But nonetheless, we have a democratic society where there is a freedom of speech, and therefore that would come under that category. However, I take the point that if government facilities are being defaced or are being, of course, graffiti, they call it graffiti, yes, that the police can take certain action, but that would be far-fetched. Wise, of course, that discussion was live on this program earlier this morning. I remembered very distinctly where a police officer, well-known Marjorie, the late Marjorie, she, of course, we know is a staunch PNM, and people have the right to of course, like a party. Of course, they can't be overt as Marjorie was, but she was. And when somebody failed to stand up because the national anthem was being played, she promptly charged them for being disrespectful or something. I don't know where that charge came from. I always felt that is your option to sit or stand, but she insisted. I don't know. I think that case was eventually dismissed. But the fact is that some ambitious, some overzealous police officer could have gone in that direction. But I suppose times have changed because police officers today are conscious of the fact that they will not be influenced to do such or engage in such excursions by this government, because they pride themselves of being democratic. They respect, of course, the rule of law and the right for people to protest. We saw the opposite when we went to the savannah, even though it was in the pandemic stage, but they told us how to operate in public. We wear masks. They do not, of course, assemble more than a certain number. All of that was done, and of course, the savannah was chosen because it is open. Probably all of the population of Trinidad and Tobago could hold in this 3-mile circumference savannah, and yet still we were 30-something. I think it's 32 of us were, not me included, but Mickie was included. So I'm saying of us were, of course, arrested. And of course, subsequently to that, we were tear gassed. And you will not see that for sure, no matter what the circumstances are with this administration. What you will see, of course, is action being taken, as is the case today, on the advice of the police, credible advice, and that is a state of emergency, yes, to do what? To save lives. To save lives. And when a position is taken with respect to the impasse between Venezuela and the United States, you see, once again, it's to save lives. And of course, and to protect one of our very firm and possibly original members of CARICOM, talking about the Guyana situation, as the Prime Minister rightly said. If it is that Venezuela should attack Guyana, 1x, don't be surprised if she would permit staging point for the United States to counter and to repel that attack. I think that is clear as day. And one assumes as well that if it is that Venezuela should attack Trinidad, as it appears to be from the bellicose language that is emanating from Venezuela, one expects that a similar situation will take place. But I don't think Maduro is that mad. He could talk that, as he has spoken all the time. I see that he is attempting to appease the Americans now. He is saying that, of course, he too has mobilized troops and other internal security within the boundaries of Venezuela to go after the traffickers of drugs and, of course, the cartels. So yes, but we have heard rhetoric like that in the past, when he said that, of course, he will make sure and conduct fair and free from fear elections, and will invite, of course, certain international observers to the country in order to conduct or to observe those elections. But at the end of the day, he reneged on that, as is the case today. And we therefore cannot trust a person like that. The trust here is not dissimilar to the fact that we distrust PNM as a party and the individuals therein, as we go into what I consider to be the granular level in terms of the individuals. We have seen the operation of people like Al-Rari, Stuart Young, Gonzalez, all of them at one time, and of course even the current opposition leader and leader of that party, I talk about Penelope Beckles, who would say one thing at one time, be part and parcel of that one thing, and do something entirely different on another occasion. What I'm talking about, yes, property tax and of course the subsidies, etc., that they have reneged on after, of course, promising that they will not engage during the elections of 2015. Yes, my friend, go ahead.
The lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. Time check. 33 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, and you're listening to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio, and Lennox Smith in studio. What's on your front burner? A lot was explained by the big word man when it coming to whether it be Venezuela, when it coming to the bully, the Friday, Good Friday, bully, or whatever it is. But what's on your front burner? I mean, let me just run some of those. Oh boy, let me take this call. Go ahead, caller. Morning. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, blessed morning, Andy. Blessed morning, Lennox.
Morning, KFC.
I am a comrade, say, USC activist envying Twiggy. Nobody envying Twiggy, you know. But Twiggy wasn't there in the trenches when we were fighting for the last 15 years. My boy Soapy was fighting for the last 26 years here on radio. Santa Cruz. Twiggy just come out just so. We had a fishy fire coming over Twiggy give. And that man was beaten Barry down. That Mr. Ruka. You see what kind 91.9. He's a stalwart PNM. So he come out now trying to defend European workers and super workers. He was a big player too, you know. So the European and the super workers, all of the hot oil, those have big trouble. We just restructure him and we get rid of the big players and enter the UNC activists and strong supporters. They will go and bid and get a contract and hire back them same people and them, and they'll get back their jobs. So don't tell me about envying Twiggy. We're glad for Twiggy, but Twiggy supposed to be in the back of the line because it has supporters and die-hearted activists fighting and toiling. Literally, I hear Twiggy making tea in Warsaw for $10,000 a month. I can make tea too. So nobody envy nobody. So Andy, I look so listen. Bless.
And Andy, I had that same conversation only this morning before I came on. And I want to say that there is validity in the concerns that these people have. However, of course, as I've always said, that I will not question the decision by the decision makers, because we trust that at the end of the day all will be taken care of. But you cannot prevent a person who has been around longer, maybe much longer than Twiggy would have been overtly and open to, of course, supporting and not be concerned. It will be irrational. It will be a flaw in the thinking of anybody not to go that route, particularly if they felt that they have been equally, if not more, dedicated and committed to the efforts that manifest itself on the 28th of April, when, of course, the UNC coalition of interest finally came into office after two decades or two series of drought, political drought I'm talking about.
Go ahead, caller. Morning.
Yeah, good morning. I heard you on about the offensive, the person committed by making the bully anything, and a police officer, you call, say that they could do that. But that is only allowed during a religious season. You can't do that every day. And the next thing, by putting them in the alarm post is an offense, because you can't hang up anything on an alarm post. It's an offense. But it's allowed for the religious season.
But he wasn't an alarm post. He wasn't an alarm post. He hung it up on Woodford Square.
I'm going to explain it to you now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, he put it in the entrance of a public place and then swinging a stick and beating it. That is obstructing an entrance, a public entrance. Right? That is obstructing a public entrance. And then you could also charge him also for disturbing the peace. Not inciting, but disturbing the peace by singing and shouting under the speech. You can't go and make all kind of public statement in the public place like that. And if the police say he's not committing any offense, I dare somebody now to take a bubble of a sergeant or an inspector or a superintendent and go inside the station, which is a public place, and beat it. You understand? He committed an offense by doing that in a police station because it's a public place. You understand? The police would have fined an offense to charge anybody if it was another political party in power and was doing that against party. That is how things operate. You understand? And Andy, I want to tell you, people talking about the immigration law and these kind of things, right? So let me break it down for you. No law enforcement agency, and the reason why I make it broad for law enforcement, that include immigration, police, customs, all these things, cannot detain anybody without having proper documents to keep them in custody. And what I mean is that you cannot detain an illegal immigrant in Trinidad and just get him in the jail and put him. They don't allow that. You can't even keep him in the station for too long either. That is the offense. Right? They must have warrant for them and take them to the jail. That is the proper procedure. Right? So when people telling you that they can detain anybody and anything, nobody can do that. That follow the procedure and the law that is in the books. Now, they was talking about the visas and them. To go to America, I have a B1, B2 visa, which is vacation. Then they have the one then for with the work permit one, right? Which is the H1B visa. Like for people coming to pick fruits or work for whatever company, whatever, right? H1B visa. Then there's corporate business people who want to open business in America. You must commit a certain amount to invest. You can get a visa for that, right? And then the green card is also a visa, the resident visa. So when you have a caller telling you nobody knows what they're talking about and he alone knows what he's talking about. When I get my green card and I came to America, the first thing the immigration officer tell me, make sure I work, right? And then they tell me they'll mail the green card and for the resident that has stayed. So, and what they sent was a green card and my social security number. With the social security number, you can work. Now, what I want to tell you about a social security number thing, right? Where he telling you that when you get green card, you can't work. You telling me a person come to live in America with residence status and they can't mind themselves? We have to live on the money, they leave the country, their country to come and live here. That is telling how utter rubbish and utter nonsense people is be talking. And the fella who tell you that they targeting brown people and they targeting, and the police or law enforcement people just work on suspicion. They don't work on things. So they look at the people who they might be looking for. They wouldn't just go and round up any and anybody. You understand? So these kind of things that people say and misleading people by saying these things. Right? And I could go on and tell you these things, but I try to break it down as simple as possible for you. You ever hear when Alan say that they're looking for a person of interest? They're a suspicious person. You understand? That is what it breaks down to. They work on suspicion. And if a crime committed in our office, you don't go and say, well, this one is a politician daughter, you can leave. That one is that one, you can leave. You treat everybody as a suspect. You investigate, and then you narrow it down to who would commit the offense. That is how investigation take place. You understand? So when people be talking, I don't know where they just get the information from. I don't know where they just get the thing from. But they're very misleading in some of the things they're saying. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, I hear the officer there.
Yes, but there's some nuances that one has to consider. For example, profiling. Profiling is a real tool in police operations, and you may not be 100%, but generally, based on the experience and the studies, you will know that a fella who wearing his pants below his bottom may be African. And all of that would, of course, be seen as a particular possible suspect, even though there is no evidence that he committed a particular crime. I'm just using that as an example as to how they profile people and the likelihood that an Indian may do this as opposed to an African. All of those are part of tools that the law enforcement agency use. So it's not as straightforward as the caller would have, and I'm sure that he didn't have the time to, of course, go into those details, but certainly those are some of the considerations that would take place. In fact, having said that, I am very disturbed today, but at the same time pleased. So I am betwixt both emotions, being pleased and, of course, disturbed. Over the weekend, we had a situation where larceny, two young men were held, one 15 years and one 16 years in one of those in a vehicle for robbery. And of course, when they check the address, both of them, of course, are underage clearly, may be or may not be in school, but the fact is that they're 15 and 16. And here the addresses are St. Paul Street and Laventille. There's the other good part that we want to mention. But if you have a call or you want to play something, go ahead. I'll pause and then I'll resume thereafter.
All right. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Where is Manning getting $125 million to buy OWP Commercial Center? An editorial by Soidath Prasad, editor. September 16th Privy Council judgment could drive nail in coffin to end alleged CLF liquidation bauble. Where is San Fernando East MP Brian Hayden Manning getting $125 million with which he has secretly offered to buy the commercial area at 1 Woodbrook Place? OWP? This is one of the burning questions that begs for a straightforward answer, especially now that the Privy Council has finally set September 16th as the date on which it will deliver its judgment on assessment of liquidator fees in the ongoing CL Financial, CLF, saga. 1 Woodbrook Place is owned by Home Construction Limited, HCL, which is a subsidiary of CL Financial, in liquidation. The impending Privy Council judgment will impact on the underlying issues of bauble, collusion, and dissipation and disposal of prime CL Financial, CLF, assets to family, friends, and financiers under the former P&M administration. The CLF saga involves $13 billion bailout loans provided by the government to two of its companies since 2009 to prevent systemic risk to the domestic and regional financial system. At that time, CLF was the largest conglomerate in Trinidad and Tobago, operating a number of companies in the banking, insurance, energy, construction, and retail sectors. Its asset base has since been reduced from $100 billion to $20 billion owing to dissipation and disposal of assets under successive governments. A great irony is that the $13 billion loan has not been fully repaid despite the chopping off of $80 billion in value of CLF assets. The plundering of CLF assets took a turn for the worse following the September 2017 decision by former Minister of Finance Colm Imbert to file a High Court petition to wind up the conglomerate on behalf of the government as creditor. The High Court appointed joint liquidators from a single company for 8 months to complete the task of liquidating assets to pay off the government debt. It is now 8 years that the liquidator has been leeching of the CLF job by racking up recurring fees and expenses. In July 2020, the liquidator filed an application for approval of fees and expenses amounting to $24 million. The government objected and requested further information. The matter reached the Privy Council. The liquidation firm of Grant Thornton had appointed several liquidators on the CLF job in the ensuing years. Mark Byers is the current Grant Thornton liquidator tasked with the CLF mission. In the latest twist to the CLF saga, Byers has accepted Manning's secret offer of $125 million to buy the commercial area at OWP, which is less than half of a $312 million valuation on the said area. Notwithstanding the massive fire sale discount, questions surrounding Manning's source of funds, conflict of interest, collusion, misbehavior in public office, conspiracy to dissipate CLF asset, conspiracy to commit fraud, and conspiracy to launder money beg for straightforward answers. Byers was required to report to Manning during his tenure as minister in the Ministry of Finance under the previous regime. Manning's Steal of a Deal proposal was submitted by Shining World Capital Management Company Limited. According to records at the Registrar General Department in Trinidad and Tobago, Shining World Capital Management Company Limited is a shell company of which Manning is the sole beneficial owner. According to the company's annual return filed with the Registrar General on August 11, 2025, Shining World Capital Management Company Limited has a stated capital of just $1 TT. Another shell company with a similar name was also registered in the British Virgin Islands, BVI. Liquidator Byers resides in BVI. And Grant Thornton, the liquidator firm at which Byers is attached, also has a registered office in BVI. Brian Hayden Manning is the son of former Patrick Manning, deceased, under whose tenure the CLF bailout occurred in 2009. Hazel and Marie Manning, who had served as a cabinet minister under her prime minister husband, is the mother of Brian. She is also listed as a director and corporate secretary of Shining World Capital Management Company Limited. It does not require rocket science to connect the dots relating to the disposal of a massively discounted prime commercial property via a questionable transnational purchase agreement involving a conniving BVI liquidator, a conflicted former TT government minister, and the less than naive ex-minister's mother.
Oh boy. So that's the big question. Go ahead, caller, before Lennox give his thoughts. Go ahead.
You can also get a visa called a student visa, which I did. I get a student visa, came to America and studied. But anyhow, and the guy Lennox talk about profiling, that is 200% correct. I think there was a case in 87 in Boston where I used to live. There's someone shot a girl in the car. She was pregnant with her husband, and it was a big thing. So, what did the driver, which is her husband, said? A black guy shot her, and Andy Limited, my friend, my brother, good friend, he become my friend. The guy who put his brother as a security guy was the investigator. A black guy was the investigator. You know what he did? He went to the baddest place in Boston, Rochester, and he hold a black guy who had bad reputation. He had a lot of long list and charge him for the murder, for shooting the girl. And after the investigation done, you know who shot the girl? The girl husband in the car. The case was called the Stewart case. Shot the girl in the car, her husband. And my friend, my brother friend, had to go on a 6-month leave to the police. That he was wrongfully charged with the wrong person and they were going to sue him. And yes, they have a lot of profiling in America. The one the officer calling and talking and being well, sometimes I wonder, you know what, I got to stop correcting and people. All right, Andy Lennox, I'll do them later.
Thank you very much. People want to know where Manning getting that money. Go ahead, next caller, morning.
Good morning to the Magnificent Tree. Yes, what I had to say this morning, you see, when it coming to the CPEC workers and the URP and all these kind of things, right? You must know that these things come into existence because like a kind of voter pardon system. Because before I was a casual worker in Wassa, right? In my early years, right? And even I know county had casual workers, works as casual workers. And I from the beach area. And I could remember it had forestry department workers, it had river workers, it had the works, people cutting the bush going up on the beach road. And county had LHA workers, and they had normal workers working with county that will see about the drains and slipper drains and the inputs and whatnot. But the man introduced this CPEC thing. It wasn't anything bad, but he introduced it really for vote. Because they used to tell you, if you vote for the PNM and you vote for the next party, they will close down the CPEC area. And I was walking down south when I see the first set of CPEC workers cut the hill was somewhere between, I think, La Romaine by this price mat. And it was good. You understand? So nothing wrong with these CPEC workers, but it ended up turning out into a voter panning thing. And they started to close down. Like right now, it's a forestry workers. Right now, like it's a river workers. Right now, everything's going up on the beach road where works used to. I know all them fellas who resign. It ain't nobody working there again. Right? So this is the thing that happened. I tell no cultural workers. Right? I know they say well the CPEC are doing this, so when them close down, they're getting work done. But all them thing is just a kind of voter pardon thing. Right? So I know about this thing. I could talk more about that because I was even working with CPEC driving truck and all too. Right, with them, I drive truck with them, the URP system, and it's real corrupt, right? Real corruption that has take place in these places, right? So I know about this thing, but me I really want to come out and talk this thing because men know me, right? And contractors who I used to work for. If I go to tell you that now, they will call me and really bash me. So I can't really give all the real insight that I know, but these places are really corrupted places. Right? And we have to understand that. Right? So me, I will take it on too much. As for three against you, people have to understand it's not only the UNC activists that make this UNC government win this election. You must know it had PNM people who was influenced like people like Twiggy. It didn't have to be in she area, but it could happen where she might influence people quite in Labray. And according, because them no Twiggy, it's PNM, right? So sometimes you have to go that way because you have to hold on to these people. Because if we only study UNC activists, this UNC could find itself out of government in the next 5 years, you know. So we have to stretch we hand. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Lennox? Right? We have to stretch we hand to those who didn't really support we fully personally no, because you have to woo them in, right? And not to say UNC activists wouldn't get something, but we have to be wise in how we thinking too. That's why we have to leave it up to the hierarchy and them at the UNC to know what they're doing. Because if we go and do things on emotion, right? We could find ourselves out because Kamala didn't do too bad in 2010, and in 2015 they vote you out. Because so long the PNM people have vote for the partnership or the UNC, it's out there going on. So somewhere along the line, we have to have the olive branch too. Otherwise, we could find ourselves in trouble. So not only UNC active, with the UNC, The UNC activists had to be strong to know that sometimes we got to just stand on the side a little bit to get what we really want. Because at the end of the day, the PNM going at we, in all kinds and form and fashion. Look at this Roman talking about we still get 20, right? And he's showing them kind of form. You have to understand how they're biting. So we, as UNC activists, must know we have to be stronger than that. And we have to give a little leverage to the PNM people to come in, because we can't push them out. As we push them out, you don't know. I'll go in, Andy. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah, well, I think that caller understands it well. That caller understands it well. Yes, when we said that you have to leave it up to the leadership, in spite of those realities that speaks very, what I consider to be, it appeared to them to be unjust. It appears to be that they are not being treated in the way that they expect. And that is why I made the point, and I'm glad that the caller followed up on it by leaving it up to the decision makers. But at the end of the day, one expects that all will be dealt with over time as the government or as the party remains in government, 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, and in perpetuity.
Go ahead, caller, go ahead.
Good morning to you again, Andy Williams, and good morning to you, Lennox Smith.
Morning to you as well.
Lennox Smith, I want to say, when the OWTU make a mannequin of a camera person and drag the mannequin in Port of Spain, they did not have any dangerous weapon, a weapon that is used for grievous bodily harm, beaten on a fence, on a state of emergency. It was not state of emergency when they did that protest, and that was within the law to protest on a public sidewalk or road or any kind of thing.
All right, let me just intervene just shortly. It was very specific on the last state of emergency under the PNM, and in this one, that protest will not be part and parcel of the targeting of the state of emergency. I want to make it clear. That's why we were able to have an election in the way that we did, because that was eliminated from the protest. It's the same thing in this case. All right, just to make sure that we understand that. Go ahead.
Yes, but in this case, that individual had a dangerous weapon that classified by law as a dangerous weapon, beaten on an object with the image of a government minister hanged on government property. That alone is littering. That alone is littering. And he was right not to give the media a name, but the police officers and them have a responsibility to see a citizen with a dangerous weapon on a state of emergency and stop and inquire what's taking place over here. And he had a right to identify himself with the police officers and them. Because I cannot take that and go by any government buildings and hang up something with a dangerous object, beating on the fencing, and say I have my rights to do that. It was not a piece of plastic or any kind of thing that he used. It was a dangerous weapon. And he even mentioned that we have bull pistol. And if they want bull pistol, we can give them bull pistol. A bull pistol is illegal in Trinidad and Tobago. And when somebody engaging in a protest that they say, and you mention that bull pistol, the police officers and them should have been over there trying to know what is your purpose over here. And they're supposed to identify itself. I'll leave in that right there. I never mentioned that UNC activists jealous, Twiggy. I say UNC activists should not jealous Twiggy. And I'm going to leave that right there. Going with the CPEP and the URP. CPEP, I'm supporting you 100%, Andy Williams. CPEP is a good program, is a great program, and they do wonderful jobs. But just we had disgusted contractors and them had that contract, and I'll tell you why. And disgusting PNM, because if the PNM so love the CPEP workers and them now, they give the disgusting contractor a 3 and 4 years contract. Why the contractor now then say, all right, to secure the worker's job, I will give you a 3 years contract so that nobody can interfere with all your jobs. Why they didn't do that? Why the PNM government didn't fight for the workers' rights and say, well, all right, because the CPEP contractors and them could work some money today and fire them tomorrow, Why they didn't secure the workers and them work and give them 3 years contract, which by the contractors and them cannot victimize them, cannot send them home, and cannot brutalize them, but they care about the workers and them. And how it is, a CPEP contractor could have, not a CPEP contractor, a contractor that's working for CPEP company, how it is them could get CPEP contract operating 10 and 15 years now, and they will have branch across to any other contract. The CPEP workers and them obligated to the contractor. And why the contractor did not secure the work on them and give them contract just as how them get contract so that they can be. Do you know that if a CPEP worker could get a 3 years contract from the employer, them could go to the bank and get $20,000 borrow? But if you don't have a contract, you can't get nothing from the bank borrow. Why the PLM didn't think about them things and secure the minimum wage workers? Why they didn't do that for the URP workers? You know, a URP worker can get a fortnight today and the next fortnight they can fire him and he come back because the foreman don't like him. He's a UNC and the foreman don't like him, or he's a PNM and the foreman don't like him. Why they didn't secure the works that way and give them 3 years contract? Say, no, well, look, when I get work in URP, cleaning the community, that is a 3 years contract that I working over there. If they ever fire me, well, they'll pay me for my contract. Just as how this CPEP contractor wants it now. All the CPEP contractor, all they know, all their children going to university and all these places. You didn't know the petroleum workers children was going to university too? You know the TNTech workers was going to university too? Over the 140,000 people that get fired under the PNM. You didn't know them children was going to university too? Well, let's stay quiet and watch the wrongdoing take place. Misconduct in public office. And any government ministry not draining the economy and leaving the citizen broken. What we want a ministry like that for? If you renovating your home, the government said they're not closing it down, they want to restructure it. You want to renovate your home, but you want to keep your couch and your stove, everything in the house. Why is it changing the floor? You have to put everything outside and renovate the home and then put back everything inside. So have a nice morning.
There's no 5 o'clock. Good morning, ground report. Bossman here. I wouldn't waste time to get distracted by those fiends who criticize every single contribution I make. The arguments are feckless and facetious, and they talk a lot of flim-flam. Anyway, this morning, there at the San Fernando PTSC, there was no 5 o'clock Port of Spain, no 6 o'clock Port of Spain. The bus came 7 o'clock. Andy Williams, most of the buses had come back down from Port of Spain to San Fernando. The dotish, stupid San Fernando PTSC management is taking those buses and sending them UE because
Go ahead, caller. I want to finish off that busman voice note, but go ahead. Morning. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, don't report. This is calling concerning the different things we calculate in there right now. You say we close on CPEP, right? We close on the forestry, we close on all these things. But the greatest thing that was the earner, the foreign exchange, that's why we're suffering today. Yeah.
Which is
you hear me?
Yeah, which is Petrotrin.
Yeah. So if people want to compare and see who do more hurts or more damages to our country, okay? Properly.
Yo, we are here. Don't listen to your background. Don't listen to your background.
No. Yeah, but they don't know that what they're talking about. I watch most of these people. Himself, Mr. Lennox, could explain the people which is the department that hurt the country the most is the foreign exchange. And if he didn't get that right, I don't know, Mr. Lennox, he could explain himself between CPEP and foreign exchange. $80 a day cannot mind a man. I have a brother-in-law working there. Right? And that man become a vagrant with working CPEP. When people come and mixing concrete for $200 and putting up blocks for $200, he went and joined CPEP. So tell me what direction CPEP heading the young people into. We must think what we're saying. People is very uneducated in Trinidad, and I'm getting to realize it more and more every day. If a man could close on the oil field and mine goat, he put milk in front of foreign exchange. You understand? That is the kind of brain these fellas have, and they're giving here a country to run. It don't work like that. Foreign is more valuable than cutting grass. That is not marijuana we cutting to sell. That is grass side the road. A man clean in front of the place, you have a business place there, 200 feet in front of the property, you have to clean it. You cannot say, well, the government had to spend $1.4 billion. We know that people, that $80 is plenty for them. It's plenty for them. But we don't want the children with growing up in that. I sent a tape for you where Elvis Presley sing on a video. You could check a video and run back that. You see a girl from New York. She live in New York. She said she never heard that song yet. When she played, she cried to listen what it is Elvis Presley say. He was not a racist, but he said it have white ghetto and it have black ghetto. It have Indian ghetto in Trinidad, it have African ghettos. I have a brother-in-law, which is an Indian. He worse than, I could tell you, he should barely live in Shantytown because I tell you the truth. He's an Indian and he don't think like an Indian. You know what he think like? He think like a drunkard. He figure, well, if he have enough time to drink, he could be a happier man. He don't have a wife, he don't have a child, and you don't have nothing. I had to go and build his house for him, help him fix his own house. With $80 a day, he can't do nothing. That is about a bottle of rum and sit down from in the morning to evening. For them to clean the hospital, for them to clean the sidewalk by the school, for them to clean the school, and add a little $50 or $100 more onto that. Take what I'm telling you. Take the people off of that CPEP and put the people who own the property, you cut your grass. You have a factory on the highway, you have to keep in front of your factory clean, 100 feet from the highway, because you're making millions, right? And put the people that they could have security, and if the children get a job, they could recommend the children to work in the school, to clean the school, the hospital, wherever have government business. We don't need them to go back to that. You know what Mr. Pandey do?
He said, if every Indian go and cut cane, we will not have no more doctors. His father said when his father was thinking, sell the cow, sell everything, and send him England to be a lawyer. Now, we don't want everybody to be a lawyer or a doctor, but we want them to be smart. And don't think that compare CPEP with the foreign exchange is a great difference. We want to develop the people's brain. They mustn't work for $100 a day. They have to work for $250 a day. Take what I'm telling you. Give them security jobs. Mr. Lennox, I've seen you shaking your head there. I don't talk from my bottom of my heart. I talk from my brain. And this is what happened. People only looking at CPEP. That is a syndrome. You got to get them out. When the cane factory closed down, I was glad, you know why? My grandchildren can go and cut cane. You think they could go and cut cane? Let who want cane, buy cane. But you want the whole country, and they close down the cane factory, man, and close it down. There was fortune tellers. They could have seen where we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need engineers, we need people to build school, roads. Why we have must put them to cut cane? We are stupid people? No. Take the people, don't fight for the CPEP too much. Fight for them to get a better job in the hospital, they clean the hospital. That will suck up in 1 week time, all them people will, and they will look for more money, and they could go to the bank and have a bank card, and they could open an account and get a loan. And the children now could join the job in the hospital, because they could go and tell the neighbor, you know, my son working in hospital. What they would tell him? He working CPEP. CPEP degrade my brother-in-law. Don't have vagrant, you don't shave, you don't bathe. And watch every CPEP worker, when they get a little chance, you see them at a rum shop, they want this tall, dirty boots and a green outfit. You could recognize them, nobody want them to clean the yard again. Because they let down the prestige. My father was not educated for that, you know, when they came from India. You know. And people who come from Africa, they wasn't educated, you know why? They had sense. They built all the houses in Trinidad. My neighbors are some St. Vincent all about. And all the houses, you see, they own. It's them young people mashing it up. They don't even know how to paint a wall. It's lucky the old people. You see all them houses in East-West Corridor there? None of them bitch and build a house. And sorry to disrespect your station. It's the old people who didn't have no education build that. And we wanted to go back that way. I used to be in Laventille. My aunt grew up in Laventille. My aunt married a fellow from Laventille. And we don't talk no race. We don't know what is race. But if they stop the race and put these people to work in the hospital, all different places, don't fight for the negative. It don't work. When they say, my grandson can't go and cut cane, he was right. He was right. If he did keep the cane field working, we're not one shit in Trinidad. I'm telling you. Close it down. We don't need sugar. Let everybody own the factory, and they have 100 feet in front of the factory, 300 feet. Cut the cut the grass. And let the people who work in CPEP get good jobs in the hospital, in cleaning the airport, doing work so they could say people are working in the airport, are working in the hospital, are working in the school. That we want people to say, CPEP is one of the things I see destroy my brother. The man don't shave, he don't bathe. Watch all these CPEP workers, and you'll get 10 out of 100 bathing. I'm telling you. I see where they destroy a whole neighborhood with that.
I don't think it's the CPEP. I don't think it's the CPEP destroy your brother. I think your brother destroy himself because it have people that work CPEP that send the children to school.
I speak to them as an Indian. As an Indian, and that man didn't want to mix concrete for $200 a day. I had concrete to mix for $250 a day. I know he tell me, you won't kill me out of it. But he body tuned to work 2 hours a day. You know what tune mean? It come like he designed himself to only work 2 hours a day. And the $80 come like $200 to him when he calculate the hours he put in.
But would you blame
so
CPEP?
He cannot buy a tire for a car. Huh?
Yeah, but would you blame CPEP for that when I know it have CPEP?
No, I don't blame CPEP for that. Huh? Like I blame the cane field. I blame the cane field, you know why? All the people that be working cane field still. Because that was a tradition of the Indian people My grandson had to go in the cane field and cut cane. My father said, you know what? He sent his son to study. And that is what we need to do. Talk out the truth and let the people know to come out of that kind of syndrome. We want people to be bright. Because when their children grow up, they could say, oh, look, I carry my son in the hospital, you get a work in the hospital. You go in the school, you get a work. You work in the airport, clean in the airport. Big name, no, man. Big name. We don't know no name to carry it down. That brother I'm talking about there, I see he come from the top to the bottom, you know. And his mentality was, I only work 2 hours, you know. And I get paid. But he ain't checking, he getting $80 to $250, you know. You understand? He can't own a car. He can't do nothing.
I agree.
He can't say about a stove. He don't have a stove. That man cooking, I don't even sell everything. He cooking on a stone, 3 stone. Indian are talking about, you know. I ain't talking about no other race, man. Indian is my race. He become a dunce to good things. The man don't buy it, they don't buy soap.
Well, all right, partner. All right. Thanks so much for your contribution.
I seriously bad experience this fella.
Yeah, real bad experience. But you can't blame CPAP for that.
But there is credence. There's credence.
No. We're not blaming CPAP for that.
In East Port of Spain, there is an argument where people, as he rightly said, you're getting in a private capacity, you're getting 2 something, and you prefer to go and work for $100. Why? Because the work ethics and the ease with which you are getting it, some human beings gravitate to that. But of course, at the end of the day, you are underpaid. It is underemployment because you could be used, your skill could be used elsewhere. So that is one of the downsides of that. Thank God all are not like that. And therefore, one could still say that it has, on the other hand, has brought some benefits to others as opposed to scenarios like that.
Better people why not to call her work CPAP. Just one quick minute. Right, but one quick minute caller. But I know people who will work CPAP and from the CPAP work go to our next job and send the children to college and all them things. Send the children to school.
You hear what I say?
So it's both sides. And on the other hand, I want to tell him as well that right now we need assurance. I understand the cultural and psychological concern that his parents and the four parents would have had. But it doesn't mean to say that you can't mechanize, you can't adapt the industry to present circumstance, utilizing the technology. I bet you bottom dollar, if you bring in the tractors and all of the plowers and all of the modern equipment, you'll see how many of those same people would want to gravitate and others outside of that ethnic group. But I understand the quagmire of his ethnic group, and I think he's talking from that perspective. And from that perspective, I think it was right for people like the former late Prime Minister to say, get out of that and go to higher advanced ambitions and of course places where you can make your contribution other than in the cane field. Just as how in Laventille they say that it's steel pan and they developed the technology center only for steel pan, and I said no, everybody in Laventille don't like steel pan. You have to of course diversify it, and that is how of course the technology center came about, because the then government wanted to be focused on steel pan alone.
Lennox.
Or steel pan alone.
Look at gentlemen
one of these, Lennox, what I want to see, if I could have speak to Kamala, I say, Kamala, don't invest no money in no Indian area again. Invest in Laventille. Bring the people out of that. Because open Kentucky, not Kentucky, we want we local chicken, Jenny's chicken. We want all we local stuff inside of there. We want a big place by the lookout there. We want to level down there. We want to put your own movie town there. Let the money circulate inside of that area there. You will see how people will get rich. But you can't bring money downtown to circulate. You're not getting rich. You're going to give these fellas to get rich. We have the Jenny's chicken, all different kind of West Indian food. Yeah? Don't tell me churches is West Indian food. They call it Cajun. That is stupid talking. That is a fool, people. We want when my mother fry a chicken with the pot, That is tastes real good. We do admire that. Doubles, we want Shark and Lake still in Port of Spain. You could go down any night, you can't get, you got gyros. Where the hell these gyros come from? And they get prime property. And they could put the oil on the pavement. Oil, I talk about oil. And when they're selling on the pavement, all our oil on the pavement. And don't clean it. You think a doubles man or a Shark and Lake man could fry that day? You see, they send the police and lock up his cells. Sorry again, sorry to disrespect.
All right. Thanks
I don't
so
like
much.
to see injustice. Yeah, I will call all you guys again. One of these days I'll get Lennox to understand what I'm talking about. I'm not a racist. I'm one of the people. If you take people out of poverty, crime done, you know. Crime don't come from richness, you know. It had a big thief like them for a good thief, where you could catch them. But you see, poverty. I've sent a tune where Elvis Presley played. And this girl, well, I sent she a thing, and she replied to me, she said, Mister, you never see that in her whole life. See if you find it there, Elvis Presley in the ghetto, and listen to that song. And then we go say, well, boy.
I ain't gonna be able to play it because it's gonna be copyright. And then
No. Play it.
No, I won't be able to play
yes,
it.
yes.
Copyright.
Yeah.
That's trouble.
All right.
Could lose
That's trouble. Leave that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to lose nothing. You see, Mr. Amar is a good man, but he's still on the left side foot. He's still dancing wrong side. He's dancing backward. You can't come and attack a prime minister trying to do the best. I don't know what UNC did that man, you know. That man's still on the attacking front. But between me and you guys doing good. Keep all your show going good. Yeah. Lennox, you're a very intelligent fellow. I admire what you do. You see, Lennox, I was watching there, you know. I show my grandson, I say, see that fella there? Lennox, I know Lennox is a little fella. He ain't gonna know me. And you see, he bring his son there. He know his son to go no see Pep to work. Tell him I say so. If he hear me, Lennox.
But yeah, he hear you. But before you go, before you go,
you're right, and you're right.
Before you go,
if your talent could be used elsewhere, why not?
Yeah, but before you go, most people say,
you know?
But watch, before you go, most people on the chat are saying, don't blame CPEP, blame the Bayram.
Well, let me tell you something. Between me and you, my father drink rum, you know. My father was a drunkard. But he had sense. It's two different things. Some people could be drinking and they have no sense. When he done drinking rum, he go and sleep, he don't look for fight. I hear you, Lennox. I hear you.
No, yes. Go ahead. The fact that you're here made because silence is consent.
Yeah. All right. My father used to drink rum.
Wait. We can't. No. I can't go no more, boy. The people go cuss me. You on about so much minutes. Yeah. I had a thing. Bye-bye. I had to go. Nah, the people go say, look at what you doing there. That's real trouble for me there. But again, I understand.
But you understand the cultural basis on which he has brought this argument to the fore. He grew up and is part of a culture that was centered around sugarcane, and therefore one could understand that. I grew up in a culture that was dominated by the steel pan, but of course I tell them, if you're developing a technology center, do not develop it for pan alone. Everybody in Laventille do like pan or will not gravitate to pan, so you have to diversify it. So I suppose that's the argument, that's the lesson we would have learned from what you have said. That's the moral of the story.
Oh boy. And you are correct, and Clint said, and Clint Jones say, but only before CPEP and URP, how we used to maintain the country. So why are we making this an issue? Dude, all right. Go ahead, Miss Santa Cruz. Oh boy.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Andy. I apologize for that loud belch. I just had a cup of ginger tea, so you know I had a loud belch. Andy, good morning to you, Lennox, Mikey Newbie, and to everybody out there. Andy, that's a nice question that the person asked, what was there before, right? But as Mrs. Basabi says, and I am going to address her with respect, the Prime Minister rightly said, how many people are we going to have cutting grass? Right? Manning used that as a voter base. Manning created that as a voter base, right? For single mothers, as a voter base. That is what he did, right? And then look at now, it has mushroomed into corruption. into corruption, right? And to the one who was beating that thing outside, wait till you go see come back on him. You see all that body blows he tried to give MP Padarat, wait till you will see how that's going to come back to him, right? And as I heard somebody say, why when all the people were retrenched from Petrotrin and all the fence line people lost their jobs, and so over 10,000 people, he didn't have a problem. But here how the maths not maths and how that is lie, eh? He told Jolene John that there's over 75,000 people affected by it. And if 8,000 people, according to them, were sent home, right? And each one has, according to him, has a husband and maybe 2 children or whatever. How that fits 75,000? PNM maths, no maths, you know. No wonder there's ghosts in the program. But Ember didn't see them ghosts, you know. Ember saw the ghosts who were eating the food in live sport. But he didn't see the ghosts in URP and CPEP. No, they don't see that. And I don't know if you remember, I'm sure Lennox would remember. Before when President Kamona, when he was the High Court judge, he made a statement that why is it that every time there's a murder case and it reaches the court, it's because of some URP contract. They were killing one another for the URP contract. And I distinctly remember this man, I think it's Ralston Nelson, from one of the small islands, when he was talking about URP gangs, and he made reference to us, don't let it be like Trinidad and Tobago. The man said it. So everybody know what was going on in URP, and he coming to beat Barry, right? Because they shut down the program to restructure it and to clean it up. Something really wrong with all of them, but it's amazing when all the workers of ArcelorMittal and all of them were going home. You know why they were not saying anything? Because they were benefiting from it. They didn't care. Hush them out and go. You remember when some of them stormed the offices and tell them, go, it's we time now? They chased them out of the office. They didn't wait for the contract to be up. But you see, we wouldn't do things like that. Beg pardon?
No, you go ahead. We wasn't.
Yeah, they chased them out. They stormed the offices, right? Now, next thing, Andy, I heard right because I was in the kitchen, and you played a tape with Penny where she say they're not giving young people job, but they're giving old people job. That's what she said.
Yeah. Penny says so. She says, I'll set up old people.
Penny, no shame. Penny forget the 90-year-old man, Neil Wilson, who was sitting on the board with Sandals, together with Motley and them 90 years, Neil Wilson. He forgot what about this man, the Petrotrin man and all of them. And then he threw him by Malcolm Jones and all of them. They were young. But I want to ask Penny, oh God, I don't know why somebody don't put Penny to sit down and tell her to hush. Every time she opens her mouth, she's sounding really, really illiterate. You coming to ask about the Civilian Conservation Corps. But Wayne Sturge told us, MP Wayne Sturge told us why they had to close it. Because nobody would join it. I want Penny to tell us how many people joined in the last year or so before the elections. They were paying people to do nothing, Andy. And that is what they condoning. That is what Penny's condoning. And how they go to come to tell us, Imbert coming back? Where Imbert going? Lady, you really don't like the people in this country. Imbert laughed at us, right? He laughed when he raised the gas price 6 times. He threatened people with property tax. And you coming to say, Imbert coming back? Coming back where to do what? You ain't going back neither. You're not going anywhere. Nobody wants you because on this side, Rowley is working very hard to bring back Stuart Young. And they're going to do just like with the 9/11. And you will have no choice but to shut your mouth and sit down and take it. And you come in, we're sorry. What you sorry for, Penny? If you were really sorry about it, we only treated the people of this country for 9 years and 7 months. You would have made a better apology than the one that you did. But you did it because you just feel people needed to hear that. We don't want no apologies from you, none whatsoever. And now this next one, I don't know where he resurrect from. Farris coming to ask them if they're going to get back the money from SIS and one certain Lennox, what is it, infantry, right? I don't know if I said that right. You understand?
Yeah, infantry, yes.
You're coming. Why? Right? Why didn't you, when Deborah Peaks told you, right, to appeal the case with A&V drilling? Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? Because she and all know something was wrong. Although she was only a lawyer, she was only a lawyer. She know that something was wrong. But you come to question this government? Look, man, find a corner and go sit down in a corner. We don't want to hear nothing from you, Foster Cummins, but we waited to hear Penny talk about what is going on with Farris and Foster Cummins. That is what we're waiting for. I don't know that they feel when you see they're in government, they don't care about anybody. But once they hit the opposition, man, all the love and the support and everything they're showing people. But it is too little, too late. You all treated the people of this country bad. You all did not care. And worst of all, you, Penny, you played deaf, dumb, and blind. And now you're coming to play that you so care about people we do. It is, as I said, it is too little, too late. We don't want to hear from you. You can sit in a corner. You can bray how much you want. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody cares what you have to say. It's only your shell nuts. And what you're saying does not make sense. And Andy, before I leave, I want to tell all the naysayers, and I see somebody making a video saying to take away, I think I said it for you, to take away the mic from Mrs. Pasabi Sessa because she put in this government, this country in trouble. In what way? If she tell the Venezuelan government, Delcy and everybody, we have no row with you all. We have no intentions of fighting you all. How is that putting us in trouble? The woman stated everything clear, and Lennox could correct me if I am wrong, right? The lady stated everything very, very clearly. She ain't looking for no fight with nobody. It's all you want fight because you know they can't fight Trump. All you try to see who all they can fight and leave Trump out of it. It's Trump and them that bombed the boat. And this next one, Gary Aboud, talking about she should be taken before the Hague. Why you don't go? You should go because you look like you need to go there. But you see, Andy, let me tell you something, And I will side with Ann Brown this morning on this. When all you want to disrespect the lady, it just goes to show you all your upbringing. And the children all you're bringing up have no upbringing either. Because if all they could vex because Ann Brown asking for some respect for the Prime Minister, something had to be wrong with all your brains really damaged. Andy, thank you very much and have a good morning. Take care.
Oh boy, thank you very much. Wow.
Well, Andy, I mean, the die has been cast and the arguments are bellowing as swiftly as could be, as a strong wind. And I want to say that, I've always been impressed. And that is why I love this program, because, you get so much knowledge across the board, not just we are the sole depository of information, but we get it from, of course, well-researched corners. And I suppose it's because of that reciprocity, that is to say that we challenge the callers to do their research and come, because if you do not, then you will be, of course, disabuse the information that is, and the truth will eventually emerge. And I think that is what you're seeing here, because the level of hypocrisy of Penny and, of course, the former Minister of Finance in his birth, and of course the confession, yes, it is in itself hypocrisy. I think it is superficial, superfluous, and because they have a hole in the face called a mouth, and they have a larynx called, of course, a voice box, they are able, of course, to speak. But in terms of sincerity and genuineness, I think their dishonesty looms larger than the commentary that they would have been making in public. You see, they had almost 10 years to demonstrate that which they are now spewing, and clearly they did not. So what makes it, what will generate the revolution now? What will generate the metamorphosis, the change that they suddenly now have? No, that is self-righteous indignation. Suddenly you believe that you could continue to hoodwink the people. That is what that is all about. Go ahead, my friend.
Good morning to you again, Andy Williams and Lennox Smith. And that is just not misleading the people and them. That is being deceitful to the general public coming from the PNL. But something I want to ask you, I want to say too, Patrick Manning spent over 40 years in politics and about 10 years as Prime Minister. And he never even built over a house. He didn't even make enough money to build a mansion. Brian Manning spent 5 years in politics, but he could buy a building for $125 million. You didn't have that when you clear your assets in 2020. Where you getting $125 million, Brian Manning, to buy the citizens of this country assets for $125 million? Even though you work for 100 years, drawing the salary as a junior minister of finance, you wouldn't make $125 million. You wouldn't make $125 million. Which party in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for the past 10 years, your company, because your company have no employees, the company have no employees, which part do you get contract throughout Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the world with a company that have no employees and make $125 million to buy state assets in this country? You must answer that. And according to the Attorney General, that is the definition of white-collar crime that was covered up for years in this country. And they must put a stop to that. Ground report and citizens of this country. Your mother, Mrs. Manning, must ask you, as she son, where did you get, where are you getting $125 million from in 5 years? Your mother should be asking you that question. National security is supposed to be asking you that question. And every law enforcement that have the authority to investigate, the media supposed to be asking you those questions. Where you getting $125 million to buy a building? That is state asset. That is our building. That is Clico assets. Is the citizens of this country assets. We never tell you we want to sell it. You be building. You never come and ask us to buy that. You must answer. What did you do to make $125 million in this country, Trinidad and Tobago? And we must keep it and ask them that question. Your mother should ask you that. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you. Wow.
And I am, I have cause to say that we predicted that. We said that the acceptance of the Salary Review Commission's increase was designed to cover up money laundering. Not that I'm accusing Manning of any money laundering. I want to protect the what we are saying, the integrity of what you're saying. I'm simply saying that there was no reason, no rationale to, of course, accept that because of the hard times that the country had found itself. But they did that because out of government, they can now say, well, listen, the increase that we got would have facilitating the sudden buying up of resources. And in this case, of course, we see what is happening there. But another very important should I say, parallel that the last caller made is the fact that Balize House itself, it has stalled. It has stalled, but from a deficit or from the black or from the red of owing over $5 million to, in less than 10 years, you're billing something for over $100 million. That is the level of profligacy, that's the level of waste, that is the level of nepotism, that is the level of corruption that has, of course, typified the Manning, the Rowley, and the PNM as an institution administration. In other words, criminal enterprise that spouts all kinds of laudable goals for the country, when in fact they were engaged, of course, in fleecing the country and generating the kind of devastation that the present administration has inherited.
Ravi is saying to COP or all naysayers, stop buying the man business. He could borrow how much money he wants once the bank willing to lend him. So he could borrow the 100 and something million or however, right? Go ahead, next caller. Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Calling from the barrack for it. Andy, let me tell you something. I don't know if people understand where the word saga boy come from. When long time you used to hear somebody refer to somebody as a saga boy. Yes, you now that is refer to Lennox as a saga boy when he going to dance and he rolling all on his back and he had a woman him spinning and thing. Long time it had them type of saga boy where it came from the same cane industry where they used to be cutting cane and be blackened and mess up and all kind of thing. But when you see them come out of that cane field, they go home. They use their blue soap and thing and they scrub out all the fingernails and bead up and all kind of thing and they iron up the gabardine pants and the silk shirt and they take the comb. They find teeth comb and they comb the hair and put the part on one side and flick it back so and put a little grease and thing. And they spray up the little whatever little perfume and essence long time that essence and they walk out the road and go in the tongue and they stand up and they're watching the ladies who come to make market and thing. That's what they call saga boy. And they always look spick and span and top of the line. So you see CPEP, a man saying that how he brother had no ambition because of CPEP. It has nothing to do with CPEP. It's because he had no ambition. He could have been a doctor, he could have been a prime minister, he still wouldn't have been. He's a nasty locho. That's what we just call him. No ambition, he has no pride in himself. And if he want to bring himself to that condition, that is his business. Don't blame CPEP. I know plenty people who work in CPEP. When they finish on the restaurant, that waka and whatever and thing, they're looking real good in their house. And they're looking real good in the environment. So don't let it talk that cannot do this. A man who has ambition and lazy and nasty, that's his business. That has nothing to do. Don't label that CPEP. Secondly, there's wonder if people understand why it is the 1% going away with Trinidad and Tobago. The majority of the finances in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not only because of the PNM, it's because of the mentality of the people that allow their focus to be on the little things. And every minute, only talk about the little things while the 1% running away with the whole pie. We hold conversation for the last 2 to 3 months since UNC get in power was only CPEP, URP, CPEP, URP, CPEP, URP. Like a mother dog will lost hip hop. I'm not thinking that there's supposed to be bigger things we're supposed to be focusing. Trinidad and Tobago can survive on CPEP and URP. The country cannot survive on CPEP and URP. The same people who dependent on CPEP and URP cannot survive on CPEP and URP. And unless we start to refocus ourselves, let me tell you something. Since this government came into office, which one of the ministers doing something wrong? If somebody could tell me which one of the ministers in this country doing something wrong, that's the enemy would call in and voicing my opinion on it. Every single thing that every one of these ministers them doing is trying to do the right thing for the people in Trinidad and Tobago. How people can understand that. But you see, we so accustomed supporting wrong and running on the little low-hanging fruits all over the place that we just quickly to get with attention diverted from what is the reality of what is taking place in the country. And when you're supposed to be thinking 10 years, 20 years, we thinking about tomorrow. We are seeing that we have a whole generation of children losing their way. And they would have to be the adults. You feel CPEP could be able to help them? CPEP would be, they wouldn't want to hear about CPEP. They wouldn't want to know about anything about URP. They want to be able to be sustainable. And we're not thinking about that. Some dotish idiot beating some effigy of saying that it's Barry Padara. And he beat that until all he hand and thing break out. They continue beat. All over Trinidad let it beat. But we had to keep focusing on what is right and putting this country forward. We know these people don't want nothing better for Trinidad and Tobago. Once them could get on, I sure he has children. None of them have a future that they could look forward to. And he don't care about that. He care about give them CPEP. So when I wouldn't have nothing left to give my children them, and them go fend for themselves, and when them reach his position, let them beat more effigy again. That is the mentality of these people. And we had to and stick with the ministers and them, support them in the rough waters and what they're going through. And don't give these people no airtime and no attention to make them feel that how the ministers are doing something wrong. Let me tell you something, just imagine, if this government came into office and from day one they had things that was functioning, that they could have just come now and improve, rather than 10 years of destruction that was created. We had to come now and put back every single thing back in place. Start to get things working the right way. Start to weed out the corruption. Start to do all them kind of things. That taking time and money and resources and all kind of thing. When Dotishman Rowley get a government that he came into, he get a government of all corruption that Manning was created, that had to be fixed with the partnership. You get a functioning economy, you get everything in the right perspective. Just to sit down and, because let me tell you something, when you look at the ministers that Manning had appointed in his government in the first time, it's as if done Sipotenian anyway, you know, because they didn't have no work to do. They know that they could have just going into all the ministries and do nothing. And it was okay because everything was functional. Now you have to make sure and select people and get them working and doing the right thing for this government to function. And because of all the destruction that was done by Rowley and his government, you know, you have to make sure and select the right boards. You have to make sure and select the competent people, the qualified people, for them to really put things in place. Look how long we had the Minister of Finance trying to get things functional in Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance. He probably might be asleep at night proper, because Kamala, the Prime Minister, they on his throat to make sure and let me hear what is going on with the Finance Ministry, with that little short guns, lie and thief out and all these kind of things. And this is what the government had to face. And people can understand that because we distracted by CPEP. And our next man talk about shutting down the cane industry and thing. Let me tell you something. Them kind of thinking don't make sense. Every country that could produce something uniquely manufacturing, that is a positive for that country. Whether or not the labor force come from probably uneducated people or people who do not doctors and lawyers and all that don't mean to say that that industry isn't a profitable, creative industry for our country. All over the world, there's countries producing sugarcane and it's profitable. You just have to apply the right technology and uplift the operation, maximize it, and then it will become a profitable. What makes cocoa and coffee so different from sugarcane? And cocoa and coffee is a top market commodity. It's demanded all over the world. So that's no big difference from sugarcane. And people have to look beyond this kind of PNM mentality of only thinking about little stupidness and making an argument and all these kind of things, and really start to see the bigger picture for Trinidad and Tobago to go forward. Let me tell you something, and again, I say this, people understand the kind of money passed through Trinidad and Tobago. If a man could sit down and you with your own self put $500,000 in your pocket and know what you could do with that and how you could live your life and make a life of $500,000 with our income coming in to add to that. Just imagine $500 billion US are talking about, $5 trillion. That's the kind of money passed through this country. All you see where it gone? And all that was in the hands of the PNM government. So stop roughing little crumbs. Yes, CPEP workers and them seeing a little trouble right now. Yes, but the things had to get fixed. And who vexed with that loss? But sure, after things back to how it's supposed to be, and Trinidad and Tobago start functioning how it's supposed to be, plenty people will be grateful. But we don't see tomorrow. All we do see is today, and let me mash up the place for today. But don't wait until tomorrow to see a better future of Trinidad and Tobago. Have a good morning, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of it. And now make some hot sada roti, a nice piece of zabuka, and some pak choy with tomatoes and a little piece of saltfish. Tell Orlando, anytime you're ready, call me. I'll send something for him. No boy like this.
Yeah. Local dish boy in foreign environment. All right, I hear you.
Nice.
You showed up for me here, boy. You have my mouth watering there. Anyhow,
let me play.
What more minutes we have? Nine more minutes?
Yeah. Let me just play something out there quick.
All right.
I ain't playing no voice notes really, It start this man, one boss man, and then look at who come and gone. So, yeah. When he calls.
He bust up, he calls people to get bossy.
Yes, when he calls.
They want to go, they're getting bossy, they want to go. Or they want to bust something, I don't know.
All right. So let me just take you, because
It's a San Fernando UB. Good morning, Grong.
Well, just now, I ain't taking no more calls. Let me just cut off all calls. Put this phone on I ain't taking no more. I really can't. It's only calls and we've been playing.
Yeah, we only have about 7 minutes, people, and we have to complete these exercises on time. These days in particular, I went over last night and I lost out big time. So we need to be on time. So you have to understand that as well. So please be sensitive and let's make certain that we can work coordinatedly.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Good morning, Ground Report. Bossman here. I wouldn't waste time to get distracted by those fiends who criticize every single contribution I make. The arguments are feckless and facetious, and they talk a lot of flim-flam. Anyway, this morning, there at the San Fernando PTSC, there was no 5 o'clock Port of Spain, no 6 o'clock Port of Spain. The bus came 7 o'clock. And the Williams, most of the buses had come back down from Port of Spain to San Fernando. The dotish, stupid San Fernando PTSC management is taking those buses and sending them UE, because there is a San Fernando UE route that was restarted because UE has reopened and they are carrying children to UE. But my point is, you have people buying tickets at the terminal in San Fernando and they're not sending the buses. That is wrong. That is scamming people and it is wickedness. Mr. Zuku, I want to offer some advice to you. If you cannot manage PTSC, resign. Do us a favor. Because this morning in the terminal, right? while I was waiting in the Port of Spain line to get a bus to go Port of Spain, people was talking and criticizing Minister Zakura and saying that he's horrible, he's inept, he's incompetent, he does nothing, he's not buying no new buses, right? He's a waste of time and all sorts of things. Kamala Persad-Bissessar as the Prime Minister, I'm appealing directly to you. Move Jolene John from Ministry of Works and put her in Ministry of Transport, because Jolene John is one person, she likes poor people and she likes to see poor people does well. If she was the Minister of Transport, she would have fixed every single bus route in Trinidad and Tobago, because she's a worker and she cares about people. How could you be taking most of the buses in San Fernando and sending them UE? So you don't care about people who want to go Port of Spain, people who want to go Superior, Princestown, Faizabad. The service is very, very, very sluggish. I see UE students put out a petition now, demanding that PTSC send more buses. So what you want them to do now? Take every single bus now and keep the UE road running, and people can't get buses to go other places? This is about the 10th time now, and maybe more. I am appealing to this minister, do your job. People are frustrated and they are fed up with the nonsense taking place in that San Fernando PTSC. And you see the workers in there, the drivers, the customer service information, the dispatchers, and the manager, they are total failure. And Mr. Zaku does nothing to fix the transportation problem. Right now, I heard a PTSC worker telling some passengers that right now, most of the buses in San Fernando are not working, they are waiting parts and they are down. How long now? The buses cannot be fixed. How long now? And some of the buses are being sent to Port of Spain to do repairs because the San Fernando garage is so overwhelmed, they can't handle the volume of defective buses. Kamala Persad-Bissessar promised to fix PTSC when they come into power, and 100 new buses were supposed to come this year. They're not buying anything, and nobody seems to care. You see, the thing is, they were getting people worked up during the campaign. PTSC will be revamped. Buses coming, right? Expanded routes. Andy Williams yesterday, I was at the bottom of High Street. You should see the big bus that was going to Guayari and just about 4 or 5 people on the bus. Huge bus, you know. And people can't get a bus to go Port of Spain. In the morning, to come up, just 2 buses or sometimes 3 might leave San Fernando. And in the afternoon, you had to wait until about 7 o'clock in the evening to get something to go San Fernando. This is stupidness, man. Mr. Zakuri, you failed before you even started. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, fire this minister, because he's not performing.
That was a voice note from him Friday, but remember Friday we get cut. So that was his Friday voice note. We have today's voice note that will be played tomorrow, please God, because it's done 2 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. Right, so
a long time I hear that word feckless.
Yeah, I say you learn a big word from you now. Yeah, you sound like a real big word, man.
I hear that word or use it. It means, of course, not fit to assume responsibility. Yeah, so that was a good word. If for what he wanted to convey.
No, but I know say about it. Like Lennox rubbing off on the man. The boss man using big words, boy. To show that he don't have time for them.
Yeah, flip-flop and so on and so forth. Yes.
Because remember that everybody was laughing.
That's good. That's a good sign.
Remember everybody was laughing over there. See, we say mosquito biting them up and attack crap on snakes because they say he's the bushman or the bossman again. So he used all of that to tell them, I don't have time to take them on. Now let me get back on my bus story. What's going on with the bus? But he done went to the outside and mash them up, whoa, and fall back in. How the country stink, and all kind of thing. Then come back with big words.
Yeah. Well, then we assume that he probably was a recluse or somebody who resides in the forest, because all them reptiles and insects that he spoke of, it could be that he took a bus to the forest.
All here is 10 o'clock. Don't forget tonight, Corridor Transformation with yours truly, Lennox Smith at 8 o'clock.
Yes,
and don't forget, same time, same place, right here on the Ground Report. Hey. Oh, God, oh, Moon Sammy. Boy.
What she said?
Yeah. But only that. We had the next voice note to play for the man tomorrow. Please go ahead. And yes, Ann Brown, it was that was a Friday voice note he sent. But today's voice note, it's there. I can't play it. That one is about 4 or 5 minutes. So I don't know, like he very serious, like this morning, like it had real problems. Remember, this morning is Monday, and he going on the bus, and then rain was falling. Oh God, he might be get wet. Crap might be coming the bus. Snake might be hold on to his foot. So he
calling for a feckless minister to, of course, give way to Julian John.
Yeah. Only until tomorrow morning, please God. Same time, same place. Oh boy, we are out of here.
Yes, indeed, people. See you tonight, and tomorrow morning we'll resume this and more.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.